Sonabile Siyatandana Obazamilu Zojuganisa Basurega Abapanzi Bagumile Sonabile Siyatandana Obazamilu Zojuganisa Basurega Abapanzi Bagumile Ukubazifanelele Tina Zobabili Mazikunye Yajabula Yajandana Aibazamilu Zajuganisa Aibazuleka Abapanzi Bagumile Ukupasifanelele Tina Zobabili Masikunye Yajabula Jabula Asibe heavy muja Asibe heavy Sibe moye Asibe
Our family from there become actually money in the past from Tuareg people.
Baba. Last year when I tell you say make you vote wisely, you look at it, you know send me. Last time when I tell you, say make you choose wisely. She look at you, you lucky your sense, you know, send me. Now many people they suffer, many people they hungry. Ah, hey, you go explain tire, you go explain tire, you go explain you wanna go explain tire, you go explain tire, wanna go explain you go explain tire, wanna go explain tire, you go explain you go explain tire, wanna go explain tire, because no evidence you. It's K Baba. Last year when I tell you say make you vote wisely, she look at it, don't shaggy, you know send me. Last time when I tell you say make you choose wisely, she look at it, you lucky your sense, you know send me. Now many people they suffer, many people they hungry. Ah, hey, you go explain tire, you go explain tire, go explain you wanna go explain tire, wanna go explain tire, wanna go explain you go explain tire, wanna go explain tire, you go explain you go explain tire, wanna go explain tire, because no evidence you.
Welcome, everybody. Happy Thursday. How's everybody doing? Highly favored. How now? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Greetings to you. I hope it's cool where you are. Because this side, I don't know, it did not get respect. Oh, it's been very, very hard lately. But, we do what we gotta do. Thanks for coming. It's another day. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, we're gonna get started right away. Right away. No time to waste. We're gonna get into this right away.
President Bola Tinubu and Chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, yesterday briefed the Economic Community of Central African States, ECOWAS, on the political impasse in the Republic of Niger and assured it that ECOWAS was doing everything possible not to compound the situation in the country. Tinubu, who spoke when he received an audience, a special envoy of President of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Gabon, Mr. Eman Imongo, at the State House Abuja, however, welcomed the solidarity support offered by group and also promised to work with Bongo. This was as the ECOWAS military chiefs have set Thursday and Friday for further deliberations in Accra, Ghana, as part of efforts to assess options open to them in resolving the political impasse in Niger following the ouster of President Mohamed Bazoum by a junta led by General Abdurrahmane Chiani. Meanwhile, at least 17 soldiers died in a jihadist ambush in Niger, the government said, in a reminder of the nation's deep security crisis as the military rulers face off against neighbors determined to reverse last month's coup. Joining us now on the morning show from Tennessee in the United States as we discuss the Niger coup crisis, the French Francophone country's uprising and what ECOWAS must do to ensure that peace continues in West Africa and indeed Africa, is Her Excellency Dr. Arikana Chihombori Kwao, former permanent representative to the African Union Mission in Washington, D.C. She's joined by Dr. Victor Hai, former Nigerian presidential candidate and global affairs analyst. Good morning and welcome to the morning show.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, Dr. Kwao, for joining us. I understand it's 3 a.m. in Tennessee. Well, thank you very much indeed for honoring our invitation. And
no problem.
Thank you very much indeed. Now, I would like to start with you. France is under heavy fire across its former colonies in Africa. Mali has broken off about 11 accords, including the Defense Accord, Burkina Faso has also, broken off from the double taxation policy that favors France. In Mali, people are protesting on the streets, saying, look, they're tired of France. France should get out. Well, did you foresee this when earlier, or much earlier, you projected that, look, neocolonialism cannot work in Africa and that Africans should be allowed to determine their own destiny? What's your take on the role of France in the crisis, particularly in Niger?
Well, I think the writing has been on the wall for a long time when it comes to France. It was just a matter of time. What's happening now in Africa is a revolution similar to what saw the demise of the mighty Roman Empire, a revolution similar to what we saw with the fall of the mighty British Empire. There is no way that the West would have continued to exploit and plunder African natural resources, abuse the Africans for as long as they have. The end is here, and I hope France does see the writing on the wall. This is just the beginning of the African Revolution, and it is not going to stop. I think that France has gotten away with a lot over the years, and it's not just France, most of the Western powers for that matter. But I would hope that they would see that what's happening in Niger and what has happened in the other countries in West Africa is a very significant movement that I hope the West will look at it and consider it very seriously in terms of their policies on Africa, their foreign policies on Africa. What they have done in the past is simply not going to work anymore.
All right, thank you very much. Now, Mr. Okai, I'd like to come to you with regards to just following up from what Dr. Kwai had mentioned in terms of the fact that this is a revolution. We've seen this play out in the past as cited with other empires who have fallen. If Niger and other West African countries, as we've seen with the coups that happened, are revolting against France, do you think it's an opportunity for other Western countries or international neo-colonialists who want to come into these countries like Russia, we've cited countries like that, who would want to take advantage of this coup? Would this present an opportunity for them to do that, or would it be an opportunity for Africa to finally fully break away from colonialism?
If you've been injured in a car accident, don't call an attorney. Use this AI app instead. That's what I did.
Thank you very much. Well, this is the opportunity. Obviously, with every crisis, new opportunities arise. I think that what I'd rather start from the African perspective, what this does present for Africa now is an opportunity to begin to renegotiate its trade policies, its economic policies with these Western powers. At the heart of, the source of all of this problem is the Industrial Revolution, that started in the 19th century, and there was a need then for these countries to feed these industries with resources which they didn't have in their places. After slavery, that was the next level. And so it has continued. So it has always, favored them to get these resources to feed their factories and their manufacturing concerns at the expense of Africans. We have been impoverished for so long, and this has gone on for too long. But the good thing right now is that one of the legacies of colonialism, if you like, is what you call Western education. And today, particularly with globalization and with the way technology is right now, what they know, we know. And so, the child has grown up to be a man, and he now knows his father's inheritance. That is where we are at the moment, and it is time for Africans to demand for their inheritance and what rightfully belongs to them. And how is this going to happen? It will now be on our own terms. As what is happening, now we begin to look and say to ourselves, who are our real friends? You want our resources? Let's talk. It has to be on our own terms. And I'm hoping that this is sustained. If they do not do what they have always been known to do, which is always to have their stooges, and this is what is causing the uprising across, this particularly from the French, Francophone countries right now, where, they install people who are favorable to them. They will turn a blind eye if a man stays there for 100 years and does whatever it is that is favorable to them, But the minute you do what is not favorable to them, then you're public enemy number one.
Okay, good to see you, Our Excellency, Dr. Arcana. Thank you so much for all you do for Africa. You've been a beacon of hope and inspiration, and thanks for standing tall for Africa. I just needed to say this to you. But I'd like to ask you this. Has the revolution truly begun? Is Africa really free? Because what we call revolution, to me, just looks like a cataclysmic action that is not directed towards anything. What we call revolution that made Central African Republic, for instance, break away from a hitherto colonial past is because of the tribal conflicts and the fight for governance going on there between the likes of Anti-Seleka, Anti-Balaka, Tudera, and some other actors. What is going on in Mali is because a leader wanted to sit tight in power and the military took over. What is going on in Guinea is the same thing. It's the same cycle of dance we've always had that made Africa, since we got independent, since most nations got independent in the 1960s, to 1990 have over 110 coups. Is that not the same movement without action or movement without purpose that we are going through, that we are mistaking for a revolution? That's one to you, man. And for Dr. Okai, are we truly there? Just to ask you that, after you, man.
If you don't want to learn how to buy houses legally with $10 and then flip them to profit.
I see what's happening in Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Guinea very differently. If you look at the previous coups, those were orchestrated by Western powers, majority, of course, orchestrated by France. They had their own intentions, in a few quite documented very well. The leaders were trying to do what was ultimately best for their people, and those leaders were assassinated. The difference between these coups are coups being led by our people. The people have spoken. The people now truly understand the issues. The people are standing up to say what has been going on is unfair, is unacceptable. It really just simply makes sense that something has got to give. There's a difference between the previous coups and these last 4 coups, especially the one in Niger. I actually, on a personal level, I feel uncomfortable even calling them coups. This is, you look at a situation where people are basically desperate, where they know they're rich in natural resources, and yet the majority of the people are extremely poor. How long can that situation be sustained before the people finally wake up and rise up? That is what's happening. And I would like to call what's happening in these 4 countries as an ideological realignment of their economic, of their political, of their social values. At some point, if you look at the situation with the former French colonies, before even the no-go areas that the president must not touch, because if you do, you may not live to see the end of the day. Areas like the military, areas like, of course, the finances and the reserves that must be deposited with the French treasury, areas of the natural resources. So if you are a president, an African president, who is coming to power, and you are told, as long as you stay away from discussions pertaining to their presence, military presence in the country, training of your military by France, equipping of your military by France. Don't talk about the natural resources, whose the French companies have the first right of approval. Do not talk, and make sure you continue to deposit your bank reserves with the French central bank. If you avoid those areas, then you're free to run your country any which way you want. Now, what kind of leader is that? What environment are you going to be occupying and managing and running your country with all those major areas of economic development no longer accessible to you? And the whole thing is so mind-boggling that we have gone to, over so many years, this is 2023, that the leaders in Africa have been unable to undo the agreements that were put in place when the African countries were given their independence. It is unbelievable that to this day, you can have a country like Niger to be the second poorest country in the world, and yet all their resources are going to France. Most of Niger is not electrified, while their uranium is electrifying France and Europe. You can take one after the other after the other. At every level, it's unfair, it's unacceptable, and I don't even know how the Western powers could really go to sleep every day knowing of the carnage that the havoc they're creating in Africa, and hope that this will go on forever. The time has come. The children of Africa are now awoken. They can see clearly now, and they're simply standing up and saying, enough is enough. So yes, we don't like coups, but the last 4 coups are very different in the sense that the children of Africa are very clear because they are the ones standing up and saying, we got to take back our country. We need to defend our turf. What's right is right. What is wrong is wrong. We can no longer continue to be exploited. That's what makes this different. It's not influenced by France. The coups are not influenced by any nation. It's simply people standing back and saying, we're taking back what belongs to us. And that's what makes these coups different. And I'm uncomfortable calling them coups. I'm calling them instead ideological realignment of our economic, political, and social values. The children have risen, and the children are speaking, and the citizens themselves are backing those who have led the uprising. And it is a warning to the Western powers that the African Revolution has begun, and those who are going to align themselves with the people are those who are going to survive the revolution that's taking place in Africa. The same is true with the African leaders as well. Those who will align themselves with the wishes of the people are the ones who are going to survive this revolution as well. I do believe the African Revolution has begun, and those who cannot see the writing on the wall, they will not survive this revolution. There is no turning back. The children of Africa are rising. The children of Africa understand the issues, and this time they're going to the streets, not along party lines. They're going to the streets united as citizens of Niger, as citizens of Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, because they understand that this particular fight has got to be dealt with from a national level, and I hope with time it'll be dealt with from a continental level, because the exploitation of the continent has got to stop. And this time it is the children of Africa who are speaking, and the world better listen up.
Okay, you, sir.
Yeah.
Doctor?
So I agree completely with Excellency, and I would like to say something though, that, you know, it is said that this proverb, I don't know if you're familiar with it, that you can eat yam because of oil or eat oil because of yam. The important thing is you have eaten yam and oil. And what am I saying here? Whether you call it, to use a language now, a revolution or a realignment or a coup, or by whatever name it is clear that whoever rules, whoever endures in many of these countries are those who best serve the interests of Western powers, not necessarily the interests of the people. And so, you know, you from historically from the Southwest here, you know that when you have an Oba, and please correct me if I'm wrong, what I'm about to say now, who goes against the wishes of the people. He's served traditionally the eggs of a parrot. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Or what that simply means is the minute you are served with that, just go commit suicide. It means the people no longer want you. So whereas, yes, traditionally you may have ascended the stool traditionally, the right way, you are the king, but the minute you go against the people, you're served the parrot's egg. I see this as being served the parrot's egg. It is time, the people have said, and it is time for the people to take over the power, because truly, power belongs to the people. That's where it resides, and it is the people that give power to whoever it is that rules over them.
Okay, Dr. Kwao, let me come back to you. I like the point you made about ideological realignment in Niger. Well, ECOWAS doesn't seem to think so. So ECOWAS defense chiefs are meeting today and tomorrow in Accra, Ghana, to decide on the mode of military intervention in Niger, which is one of the options that the ECOWAS heads of state and governments had put on the table. On Monday, however, the African Union Peace and Security Committee met, and that body, was divided about military intervention in Niger. They couldn't form a consensus on that issue. So you have two different positions. AU not deciding on military intervention. ECOWAS defense chiefs meeting today, tomorrow in Accra, Ghana. Do you think that ECOWAS putting military intervention on the table, announcing a standby force, has put a good option on the table?
I don't think it's a good option. And I would want to ask the same people who are sitting at the table having those discussions about having a military intervention in Niger. Let me remind you that there are other coups that we are not talking about, that we should be talking about. By France forcing Niger to send all its natural resources to France, that's a coup. By France having its own military in Niger and forcing Nigerians that you can only be trained by France, that is a coup. By forcing Niger to deposit 50% of its reserves with France, that is a coup. The question I have for those who are sitting on the table, during those ECOWAS meetings, during those AU peace and security meetings, what have you done about those coups? Take those 3 coups, multiply by 14, because that's what's happening in the 14 former French colonies. Those are deadly coups that have been taking place for decades. And you, ECOWAS, have done nothing about those coups. I need them to also answer and give us remedy as to how they are going to handle those coups. Make no mistake about it. Those are coups against the African citizens in those countries. And while they discuss what they would like to do with Niger, I would also want them to table those coups and come up with a solution as to what needs to be done. Because behind those coups that I just described from France, there are millions of children who are dying from starvation. There are millions of children who are going to bed with an empty stomach. There are millions of African youth who are unemployed. There are millions of women who are dying while giving birth to another life. I need them to put that on the table as well. If their interests are truly about the Africans, let's look at the global view of the issue. Let's have a bird's eye view of the issue and have a frank and fair and honest discussion about what is really going on in Africa. I do know that I don't think the carnage that's going on in Africa is what ECOWAS is all about. Leadership is about the people. It's about creating a better life for the people. But if you're going to allow one who has committed egregious crimes in Africa continues to have coups, those are coups. Let's call a spade a spade. You can't give France a pass. So also let us know what you intend to do about those ongoing economic and political coups that are being imposed on those 14 French countries, former French colonies by France. So to just talk about what's happening in Niger alone, in isolation, and not go to the root causes of the genesis of why what's happening is happening, that simply does not make any sense. And I would hope military intervention in Niger is not an option. That simply is not something we should do as Africans. There are better ways of dealing with our issues. Our elders must come together. Our elders must have a frank conversation, and let's look at what is ultimately best for the people, not only the people in Niger, but in all former French colonies and ultimately in all African countries, because this moment is calling for unity, meaningful unity of purpose among the African leaders to simply say, guys, this can no longer continue. It simply cannot continue. The people have spoken, and I hope our leadership would listen.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Kwao, for joining us, and thank you also.
Well said. Dr. Arikana never disappoints, man. Hey! From when I know this woman, she know they disappoint. She's been fighting for a long time. Ah, God. Oh, man, that was sweet.
This is politics.
You guys know that Presidential Election Tribunal actually is going to be the final judgment now on the 20th of this month, August 20th. We actually know where we did for the country, or we actually know what's really up on the 25th of February. So Peter Obi's right hand man, Pato Tomi, actually said something we be saying he amazed me. According to him, he said the fate of Nigeria is in your hands. And right now he's talking to the judges actually make them know say the fate of Nigeria dey their hands. So wetin will actually, whether we will prosper or anything will sup for this country go depending on the judgments wey they will give on that particular day. What's up, my people? Welcome back to The Voice TV. It's your boy, Hi Chief Hera. Normally, you know, as the be when it comes to entertainment, we got you guys covered. So, guys, like I said earlier, Pastor Tommy actually said a lot. The video is quite long. Just settle down and watch the video and listen to him actually talking about the whole election stuff, what he expects from the tribunal judges and everything. Watch the video and do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Big shout out to you guys. Peace.
And here's why most people lose money during the recession and how you can be one of the few that come out ahead. Hi.
As Peter said, three very important arms of social contact for the Catholic faithful are represented essentially capturing the entire community. And the reason that we have those particular bodies is essentially for us to be able to articulate for the lay faithful to start with and all of society are ways that they engage in social, political, and economic action for the advance of the common good of all in society. And we do this significantly because we have a body, a corpus of knowledge, information that facilitates how we engage issues of society and the human person in society. If I may just, and I want to give this background that I think is quite important. So this is not an isolation event. It's something that's part of a huge history. When the human community faced grave crisis during the Industrial Revolution, and society was really at a crossroads. Writers wrote novels like A Child of Two Cities, people like Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities, A Child of Two Worlds, all kinds of writings about those harrowing conditions in industrializing Europe when human beings were treated worse than chattels. The Pope at the time, Pope Leo XIII, wrote an encyclical letter. It was titled Rerum Novarum. It was a response to how society could organize itself. Some left-inclined political scientists like Karl Marx and Engels had written, of course, the Communist Manifesto as a response to the challenge of those times. Well, beginning with Rerum Novarum, church fathers have provided us incredible body of teachings on social organization. But we have also had the privilege of church fathers who not only come from perspective of faith, but also from just rational engagement with social problems. Benedict XVI, before he became Pope, was one of the greatest philosophers in the world. As Joseph Cardinal Ratzinger. And he once famously engaged in a huge debate in Germany that became legendary with one of the greatest philosophers, modern living philosophers, not of a church background, who is generally considered today the philosopher of the public sphere. If you want to talk about the public sphere, the philosopher that you talk about happens also to be German, just like Ratzinger was. And he is generally credited with a series of books and publications that essentially define modernity and democracy as coming together at that nexus of rational public conversation. And they were both engaged in this debate in which Cardinal Ratzinger was able to show that without even going to scripture, you can prove God and prove God's desire for society. And I think that also informs how we approach this discussion. We come at the conversations that we're going to have this afternoon from perspectives of people of faith, but we also come at it from the perspective of rational public conversation, creating a marketplace of ideas that then adds to how societies make progress. The second point that I'd like to make in this regard is that for a good part of my adult life, I've read the Book of Lamentations, not in the Bible, but by Nigerians. Nigerians are constantly lamenting why things are going bad, gone from bad to worse and all of that. And I find a certain, I don't want to call it slothfulness, that prevents us from asking, what is at the root of this? We just talk about the problems. Well, I think also there's a huge body of intellectual knowledge, and here I am, fortunately, I think, served well by my background as a political scientist, by my background as a policy economist. When I was in grad school, my head of department, Eleanor Lynn Ostrom, was engaged in a very important debate about how society makes progress. she would end up being the first woman to win the Nobel Prize in economics, Linoline Ostrom at Indiana. And part of what made for her success as an intellectual was a perspective that she brought to the question of the tragedy of the commons. I mean, back in 1968, a famous marine biologist published an article that was titled The Tragedy of the Commons, which looked at how people make choice in society and how those choices lead them to either progress or failure. Today, it's generally accepted in economics that the reason some countries succeed and others fail, the central reason are their institutions, the strength of their institutions. With historians like Neil Ferguson, the British historian who wrote the book Civilization, the West versus the Rest, why Western countries have made more progress in terms of economic growth and the nature of their civilization. Makes this point, another version of that same book is Civilization, the 6 Killer Apps of Western Power. Economists, people who have won Nobel Prizes in economics, like Douglas North, whose major works about institutions and human progress, have written volumes on all of this. But we watch our institutions ravaged, destroyed every day, and then we don't ask why. And tomorrow we go to the Book of Lamentations again about how we are not making progress as a country. There's also another perspective that values shape human progress. Many years ago, I was on sabbatical at the Harvard Business School writing a book titled Managing Uncertainty, back in the mid-90s. And there was a colloquium at Harvard that was essentially titled How Values Shape Human Progress. In fact, the book that came out of that colloquium was titled Culture Matters, How Values Shape Human Progress. That book was edited by Harrison and Huntington. So it is clear that amongst the many things that affect whether societies make progress or not are their values, there's the culture, and their institutions. Yet if you look at Nigeria, you will see that culture is in collapse. Our values are going the wrong direction. Our institutions are being damaged every day by politicians. And we ask ourselves, why is Nigeria struggling? Why is there poverty ravaging the land? I had personal privilege to write a book titled Why Nations Are Poor. And I made this point back in 2006, why there's poverty in this land. It's not an accidental thing. It's a function of a failure of our institutions and the collapse of culture. And Barack Obama, first visit to Africa as an American president, made the point in that speech in Accra, what Africa needs, strong institutions, not strong men. But every day we see our institutions weakened. So let me summarize our joint understanding from both the Catholic laity, the Catholics in politics and business, and Catholic action in general. And I will have to read because it's a prepared text in that regard. And so at this joint press briefing, I am honored on behalf of these three bodies to present a summary perspective. This conference statement is being issued jointly by the Catholics in Politics and its Business Leaders Forum, Catholic Action Nigeria, and the Catholic Laity Council of Nigeria, in order to address pressing matters that have an impact on the well-being of all Nigerians. In many ways, we are at a crossroads in our lives as citizens and as a putative civilization. These times call for people of goodwill to exercise prophetic authority in civil society. It is to this duty that we gather with the spirit of the prophet Amos on social justice to address some grave present danger facing Nigeria and millions of people, God's children, whose destinies could be jeopardized without the assent of truth and justice in the situation we face in Nigeria today. Our approach to sounding a wake-up call draws from the social teachings of the Catholic Church, as I had indicated in my earlier preamble, and from a rational recognition of the fact that values shape human progress. Our approach, therefore, in this approach, we call on all people of goodwill, no matter the faith they profess, to share in this clarion call based on our shared humanity and the primacy of the dignity of the human person, whether they be Muslims, Christians, or animists for that matter. Amongst the issues to be addressed are the legitimacy challenges from disputed elections.
And I see the matter just being. So guys, let me know what you think about the video and
there's more video coming up. Just a few, actually. I don't want it today. I beg, I get things to do. Oh, 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 oh. Oh. Okay.
The ECOWAS chiefs of staff have now resolved to go ahead with a military intervention in Niger. When this meeting was postponed initially, many thought that they were trying to gauge the opinion of ECOWAS people. But despite the opposition from the African Union, from the ECOWAS Parliament, from the Nigerian National Assembly, from the Ghanaian Parliament, from Nigerians living along the border with Niger, the ECOWAS chiefs of staff still insist that they will go ahead with a mobilization in preparation to invade Niger. This is coming after Anthony Blinken, the US Secretary of State, called Tinubu for the second time since the coup in Niger happened. In that call, he told Tinubu to ensure that Bazoum, the former president of Niger, who was deposed by the military, he told him to ensure that Bazoum is released quickly. He also told him to ensure that Niger quickly gets back to democracy. Is this a way of telling Tinubu, hey, get on with it, invade Niger, chase the military away and restore Bazoum? If not, you know we've got your files. Whatever it is the United States wants in Niger, they've got servicemen stationed in their military base in Niger. Let them do the job. They should not involve ECOWAS. There's serious opposition against a military intervention in ECOWAS. Apart from the fact that the ECOWAS leaders do not have the authority to invade another man's country. You cannot fight illegality with illegality. Most of them have serious moral burdens. Most of them violated their constitutions in their different countries, and they want to preach to Niger about democracy. The grievances from Francophone countries against France is not out of the ordinary. They are simply tired of their overbearing attitude. How can France force the people of Niger and their government to deposit 50% of their reserves in France? Did the United Kingdom do it to any other country? Did they force any former colony to maintain a reserve in the United Kingdom? Why is France doing it? The economic chokehold on these people has become so unbearable. That's why they just want France to leave. Let them leave their country with their military men. They want to develop at their own pace. That's why they see the coup as a revolution against France. It's simply better for the United States to negotiate for their military base. They should leave France out of it. Let the people of Niger determine their future going forward. If they want to spend their entire lives under military rule, that's their business. It shouldn't concern outsiders. If they want to quickly get back to democracy within the shortest time, that's also their business. Let them solve their problems by themselves. Interestingly, the military in Niger have started serious mobilization. They are mobilizing people to join the military so that in any case they are invaded in the future, you are not talking about fighting against the military alone, you're also fighting private citizens who will be given quick training to join hands to defend their country against invaders. It's very funny looking at all the security challenges we have in Nigeria. Look at what happened in Niger State recently, and they are not talking about how to solve all these problems, and we want to go and solve another man's problem. How about charity beginning at home? A man whose house is on fire cannot be busy chasing rats. You can't solve your own problems and you want to solve another man's problem. It's not even a problem. The people you want to invade their country are telling you, no, we don't want you. We are okay. We are backing the Cupids. We are backing the revolutionaries.
Are you tired of dealing with subpar sound quality in your audio recordings? Meet the Chaotica Eyeball.
The persistence by Western countries that the military regime in Niger must restore Bazoum can only mean one thing. It is not about democracy. It is about their interest. Because it doesn't make any sense. The people they supposedly want to save are telling them, no, we like it this way. We support the military regime. That they want to achieve a total emancipation from France using the military. So why should anyone cry more than the bereaved? Besides, the West didn't react this way when their military struck in Burkina Faso. Neither did they do so in Mali. So why is Niger different? The fact is, most Western countries see Africa as a place where you come to mine natural resources, that the people shouldn't be allowed to think for themselves, that any idea, whatever idea they want, they must impose it on Africans and they will take it hook, line, and sinker. They are averse to resistance. They don't like it when Africans say no. When they make a deal with an African country and they say, no, I don't want this deal, go with your money. This is exactly what is happening in Niger today. These countries are just interested in mining resources. They don't want to add any value. Like in Congo, where they mine lithium. No one wants to set up a processing plant to manufacture the batteries locally. That's why in most of the countries where they mine these resources, you see the poorest of the poor. There is no development, no industry. They just sell raw materials, which some of their leaders will eventually steal the money and launder it back to the countries. So it's a double gain for some of these countries. They come and buy the raw materials, their leaders steal the money again and send it back to them to continue developing their countries. So the system benefits them more than it benefits Africans. They actively work with corrupt politicians in Africa to get whatever they want. They pay them any amount they want because they know that eventually that money will come back to their countries. So when you hear them say they're fighting for democracy in a particular country in Africa, this is actually what they mean. They are fighting to have a corrupt politician who will do their bidding. Otherwise, why don't they criticize politicians who violate the rules in a democracy? Yes, it makes a lot of sense that someone who is marketing democracy and fighting for the maintenance and sustenance of democracy in Africa will turn a blind eye when people violate the rules in a democracy. If you're on one hand telling people that democracy is the best form of government, that they should embrace it, why do you suddenly become dumb when people violate democratic rules? Yes, it's very important that all stakeholders work towards the sustenance of democracy. It's not the job of the opposition alone to obey the rules of democracy, while the party in power behaves as if they are lords over the others, that they were elected as kings to lord it over everyone. So when these countries fail to criticize and allow things to deteriorate to the level of military coup, they no longer have the morals to patronize us. They can't be talking to us about democracy when they fail to lend their voice to sustain democracy. They can't be seriously marketing a product that people don't derive benefit from. Democracy is supposed to come with dividends, but in most African countries, people don't see these dividends. And what is the type of democracy that is practiced in Cameroon? Many people born the past 40 years have only known one leader, Paul Biya. How can France support one man to be the president of Cameroon when he's not the king? And when a military coup happens in Cameroon tomorrow, they will say they are fighting to restore democracy. Restore what type of democracy? To an average Cameroonian, they are tired of this type of democracy. A democracy that can only produce one president all the time for multiple years. That's not a democracy. So the United States and France should just stop all the meddling, all the phone calls, all the pressure on ECOWAS leaders to invade Niger. They should just stop all these. Allow the people of Niger to determine their future their own way. Also, military invasion is very unpopular here. And going by the rules of democracy, you do not go against the wishes of the majority. Any forceful invasion of Niger will destabilize the entire region and lead to a massive humanitarian crisis. We hope that good reason will finally prevail. While the military junta in Niger is busy consolidating power, the Prime Minister believes that they can find ways to mitigate the sanctions. Niger is a massive landlocked country, and the closure of their southern borders by their neighbors must be hitting their economy hard. The people are definitely suffering. How long will the sanctions persist? With the ECOWAS leaders refusing to remove the sanctions as demanded by the military in Niger, and the military in Niger insisting that they would try Bazoum for treason, the future looks very bleak. Who will blink first, the ECOWAS leaders or the military in Niger? Thanks for watching.
Oh, who will blink first? Oh, now we dey wait for. Who will blink first? Nigeria. Hey, God. Hey, who we offend? Who did we offend? Oh, who did we offend? Aye, kai.
Is your latest Africa news. ECOWAS has declared that the bloc's military is ready to invade Niger if all diplomatic measures fail, and stated that the bloc has zero tolerance for power obtained or maintained by unconstitutional means. This is despite the African Union's recent rejection of ECOWAS plans to attack Niger and return to democracy through violence. Here is what ECOWAS Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Abdel Fattah Musa, said during the meeting.
This is the second meeting that we are having, and it follows also the second extraordinary meeting of the ECOWAS heads of state and government, also in the space of less than 2 weeks, on the 10th of August, who gave us the marching orders. 1, to activate the ECOWAS standby force with all its elements. 2, to start preparations for deployment to Niger should all other measures fail. This junta in Niger is playing cat and mouse with the community. They should know one thing. They have flouted their own constitution that forbids military incursions into politics. They have flouted ECOWAS instruments, particularly the various sections of the Supplementary Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance that declares zero tolerance for power obtained or maintained by unconstitutional means. If everything else fails, the valiant forces of West Africa, both the military and the civilian components, are ready to answer to the call of duty. Your valiance has been demonstrated time and time again in the 1990s in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Guinea-Bissau, and recently in Guinea-Bissau again, and in 2016 in the Gambia. Ironically, when ECOWAS deployed the standby force to the Gambia to make sure that a president who had lost elections vacated the presidency, nobody made noise. Today, they are saying, why are you intervening in Niger? You know, so serious interests are at stake here, but that is not going to divert ECOWAS' attention.
Let us know in the comments below if you found this video informative. Please show your support by liking and sharing this.
Now, wow. Agbado wants to impose himself by fire, by force. Oh, the guy is doing everything he needs. He's trying to do everything possible to please his masters. So everything anybody they tell am right now, they fall on deaf ears. Me, I hear say Secretary of State Blinken call am, tell am say, guy, you gotta move in.
Dust has yet to settle over President Bola Tinubu's would-be ministers before yesterday's allocation of portfolios to those amongst them who scaled the screening hurdle in the Senate. And now Nigerians are reacting to the person-to-person portfolio matchups as well. It has been a mixed bag of reactions to this development, with the critical part of it being that many square pegs have found themselves in round holes again. Our next guest is Madi Shehu, a doctor and political activist. What does he think about President Tinubu's brand new cabinet of ministers, as well as Governor Seyi Makinde's proposal for a one-term tenure for political office holders? Well, he joins us now. Thank you for joining us on Newsday. Good to have you with us.
Good afternoon.
Well, what do you make of President Tinubu's new cabinet and portfolios that have been assigned to each of them?
Well, the last time I spoke on the ministerial list,
the best place for creators to make money in the creator economy is Kajabi.
You don't need a huge following.
I told Nigerians that if you are a good Nigerian and wish Nigeria good, you are represented by the few good ones among the nominees. And if you're also a Nigerian who celebrates criminality, celebrate criminals, celebrate election rigging, you are also adequately represented by some people on the list. Going for your question now, what do I see? Once I perused through the list of the ministerial nominees and their portfolios, what came to my mind is that, yes, there we are. A perfectly executed civilian coup. The central character who plays the coup is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Other accomplices of the Tinubu are the hidden vice president, and the hidden vice president is nobody other than BC Akande. Other members of the coup, civilian coup plot, are Bajabia Mila, the vice president, open vice president, and also chief of staff to the president. I could see the hand of the permanent secretary in the villa. I could see the hand of AT, SSA, and SSAs in the villa. These are the people who executed this coup. Where was the plot? It was in London. You could remember that during the election campaign, Bola Tinubu, along with his kitchen cabinet, went to London and were eating in a restaurant. And he gave them the formula for winning election. He said, snatch power, grab power, and run away with power. And he grabbed it, he snatched it, and he ran away with it. One of the conditions is that once you snatch power, you grab power, and you run away with it, you must strangulate other parties. You must weaken them, and you must make them feel asphyxiated. You must push down their throats. Your agenda to a point of no return. And now I'm finally pretend that all is well. This is the setting of the ministerial nominees and their portfolio. Perfectly, neatly couched.
If you've been injured in a car accident, don't call an attorney. Use this AI app instead. That's what I did, and it's how I got this.
Dr. Madisho, thank you so much for giving us, your opinion of the president's ministerial list and the portfolio assigned to them. But we really do not have any proof of a civilian coup and of a hidden vice president, as you alluded to earlier. So we would like to stick, with what we have proof of, which is the list of the ministers and their portfolios, and ask you specific questions, about this. Now, as has been the practice, since the return to democratic rule, it seems the president has kept the petroleum portfolio to himself. How well has this served us in the past? What do you expect the president, or what can the president do differently from his predecessors? Now, I ask that has been the practice, since return to democratic rule. It seems President Bola Tinubu has kept the petroleum portfolio to himself. How well has this served us in the past? And what do you expect, or what can the president do differently, from his predecessors?
What I expected Tinubu to do is to look at the circumstances of his coming. Serial objection, serial misgivings, serial exasperations. Many people, 14 million people said, we don't like you. There are so many questions surrounding himself, surrounding his education, surrounding his personality, surrounding his trade, surrounding his genealogy. If he had factored all this into consideration, he would have acted differently. But he decided to act in the same way, in the same manner, in the same style, at the same speed with Buhari. For Buhari and Tinubu, there is no difference. And we are going to say it very clear now. For example, look at what goes to the southwest. Number one, CBN. Because MFLA is under charge now, they will never appoint a CBN governor, and this guy who is acting as the CBN governor is from the southwest. All commercial banks, all financial institutions, 90% of microfinance banks, Shippers Council, NNITT, National Inland Waterways, communications, under communication has taken away NCC, NIDA, Galaxy Backbone, NESCOPSAT, NIPOST, Ministry of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Accountant General, Auditor General, NDIC, all NDAs, Marine and Blue Economy, Power, Solid Mineral, Transport, Petroleum, Justice. In addition to being the senior minister of petroleum, in addition to being the president, in addition to call him the last shot, everything is on his table. Now, he took also health, environmental ecology, total of 8 senior ministers, 2 junior ministers. If you have a mental picture of what happened and what he gave to the Southwest, it's like you're having an Odudu Republic in the making, paving way for the Republic of Biafra, and forcing the North to think, okay, let us be annexed by Niger Republic or Cameroon. It's a matter of Buhari's insensitivity repeated.
What you concern Biafra for the matter?
You go to the southeast. What you have in southeast is similar to what you have in Matthew chapter 15, 26, 28, which says, it is not right to take the children's bread and give it to the dogs. The woman said to Christ, yes, Lord, but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. Jesus said, Master, woman, you have faith. This is how southwest we are given, southeast we are given the crumbs. Ministry for Work senior, Women Affairs senior, Labor junior, senior trade, senior innovation and technology. Put together, these ministries are not up to Nigerian Port Authority. In other words, they are telling the southeast, think twice about Obi next time around, that is your crime.
What the heck?
But the story is different from South-South. If you go to South-South, senior aviation, senior youth.
Shut up, man. What I wanted to hear of head. Go and sit down. Well, you know the one that faked a neck injury last year. He don't hit to now. Not be nuts. They start now. When they talk to now, no one hear. Hypocrites. They don't blind their people. Lie for innocent people. Innocent people don't buy on top of their lies. I beg you. It's a tight head. Shameless people.
Please, whoever knows Tinubu, please tell him these young soldiers, they will yeye him. Oh. They will just embarrass him. You know, they have already embarrassed Nigeria enough. They have already started calling him Ebola Tinubu. And you should think back. These are young soldiers. They are not old men. No. They are not the likes of Ouattara. They are not the likes of you. They will embarrass us. Oh. The embarrassment that we have is sufficient already. Don't add to it. You know that we don't have air defense system. These relics of MiG-21 and the other so-called air defense that we have, you know, they are not air defense against missiles. So there's a difference between air missile defense system against plane, old generation, first generation plane, and new generation hypersonic missiles. There's a difference. So we don't have any missile defense system. Oh. It's only helicopter and jet air defense system that we have. Oh, and they are very, very old. We don't have air defense system. Oh. If these young boys that are trained by America, which is a fact that you should actually consider very, very seriously, Mali soldiers, Burkina Faso soldiers, Guinea soldiers, and now Niger soldiers, all these people you are calling coup plotters, they were trained by the United States of America. And add on top of that, they are now being backed by a Wagner group of Russia. Please and please and please think. Don't let anybody deceive you into taking Nigeria into war. There are killings in Plateau now. You have not taken care of that. Terrorism within the shores of Nigeria. We have our hands full already. Don't let the US and France push you into war with our own brothers. Oh. And don't forget that these guys are young. Remember when our own soldiers still were young, when they were doing their own coup in the 1960s? Their head, they know they think the way that they think. Oh, I advise you, Tinubu, please and please respect your age and respect Nigeria as a country and respect the fact that we are West African people. Respect the wishes of the Nigerian people and just do the respectable thing now. Look for a way to save face. This standby force that you have activated, these young soldiers will embarrass us. So don't forget that they are US trained. I'm saying my own now. Don't forget that they are US trained. And by the way, don't think that by taking Nigeria to war, it will save you from the outcome of the Presidential Elections Tribunal or the outcome of the Presidential Elections Tribunal. It will not save you. Because you have seen now, ECOWAS has made it clear. It is ECOWAS that is activating standby force. So even if ECOWAS does invade or intervenes militarily in Niger, it will not give you the power that people are telling you will have to postpone elections should the tribunal nullify your election. No, it will not. So rather than waste our energy to take Nigeria into war with our neighboring country Niger, with whom we have relations, please, please, do the respectable thing and save face. Don't let these Western powers, they will just embarrass you. If America or France is promising you anything, it's a lie. These people have a very, very terrible track record of helping people destroy themselves. Look at what they are doing to Ukraine. Oh. Look at what they did in Afghanistan. Look at what they did in Vietnam. Look at what they even did to us, even in our own Biafran war. Please, oh, don't let America and France, don't let them push you to push Nigeria into war. These young soldiers, they are not correct. Oh, I'm saying it again. They will just embarrass us. Oh, add salt to injury. Oh, I'm saying my own now. Respect yourself and just do the right thing. Respect the rule of law in Nigeria. Respect these doctrines of separation of power. Because come to think about it, it is you people who engage in institutional coup that makes military coup inevitable. I said it here, that those who make peaceful change impossible make violent ones inevitable. Look at Cote d'Ivoire now. That was brought in by intervention. Ouattara has been there now for 13 years. Abba now waiting at 81. Look at Cameroon. Then you now, and even when you guys rig your way into power, you're not even doing and ruling your countries to the benefits of your people. You sell yourselves to the foreigners, to the IMF and the World Bank, and you impoverish your countries. And then you now complain about military coup. How about the institutional coups that have been happening? Look at what happened in the Nigerian election. Which face are you going to use to face the Niger coup leaders to say they engaged in coup? What we saw here in the 2023 election, is it not a coup? Grab it, snatch it, and run with it. Is that not coup? Is that not? Why will ECOWAS not condemn institutional coup, electoral coup? Why will ECOWAS not condemn them? And it is military coup. A military coup that is now looking to be accepted by the Nigerian people. So leave them all. By the way, we are not manufacturers of any weapons. So if we go to war, like you are being pushed to go to war now, the weapons you will use, guess who you will buy them from? From US, from France, from Britain, from China, from Turkey, from India. And when you spend money so you don't have to buy those military equipment, guess what you're doing? You're exporting jobs to them, jobs we don't have here, and impoverishing Nigerians. So think. These things that these world powers are doing, that America is doing, is how they overthrew Europe. That's how they stole Europe. That's how they stole the world. Now they want to bring it to Africa. They destroyed Ukraine with that strategy. Look at what is happening in Ukraine. The same Russia and America, they are the ones destroying Ukraine now. None of the Americans have died, though. It is the Ukrainians that are dying. Don't take Nigeria to war. We don't have the military might. We don't have it. Your small military power, you may think it is over and above that of Niger, but we still don't have the military resources to engage in prolonged war, which can happen if the Nigerian coup leaders go guerrilla on you. So please respect yourself. Don't let these young soldiers embarrass you on top of embarrassing Nigeria. And of course, learn from this. Learn the simple lesson of the fact that you should respect the rule of law. Respect the rule of law. This thing that you have done with the National Assembly, with the legislature, that you have brought them over. They are dancing to your tune. Whatever you tell them is what they do. Please don't try it with the judiciary. We are hearing that you are making some attempt, but please let it be in the realm of rumor, because Nigerians will revolt. Don't think that you have guns. When push comes to shove, your guns will not be effective. It is getting to that point now where people are no longer afraid. They are quietly watching and waiting to see what happens at the tribunal. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. And by the way, like I will always say, these leaders of Africa, they continue to do what they do because they have opportunity to do conflict of interest. All of these leaders are not engaging in developing their countries because they can simply go out to France, they can simply go out to Britain, they can simply go out to US for medical care, for education, to buy properties with the stolen wealth of their countries. That's conflict of interest. So long as Tinubu and his ministers and Akpabio can travel out of Nigeria for medical care, as long as they and their family can send their children abroad for medical care, our educational system in Nigeria will not work, our health system in Nigeria will not work, infrastructure will not work, corruption will continue to grow because they can hide this money abroad. And the IMF and the World Bank will not talk because it favors them. Of course, that's why they set it up in the first place. That's why they created and instituted this whole corruption thing. So please, for us to solve this problem, what we really need to do is to institutionalize a ban for public officials, for government workers. Ban them from being able to send their children and themselves abroad for medical care. Ban them from being able to send themselves and their family members and their close friends abroad for education. Ban them from being able to buy properties abroad or saving money abroad. Once we do these three things and add on top of that, creating a social welfare law like they have in America, where they spend 17% of their budget annually on social welfare. By the time we do that and we add a fifth one, create a law that will enable startups that is easily implementable. Once we do these 5 laws, Nigeria will change in 6 months. If we don't ban these politicians, if we don't make it illegal for politicians to store money abroad, to buy properties abroad, like Festus Keyamo is doing, like they are all doing, if we don't ban them from traveling abroad for medical treatment, if we don't ban them from traveling abroad to get education for themselves and their children, if we don't, Nigeria will never change, and we will never be able to break free from the influence of the IMF and the World Bank. So join in, check the description. We must create these laws. We must force the National Assembly to enact these 5 laws. Nigeria will be better. We will take it back. We will take it back.
Oh, but all this law when you dey talk, for which time they want to do am? Agbado time? Is it Ebola's time? That one no go work for Ebola time now. You know which assembly, which house of assembly? Not be the one where we say na gang of thieves na full there. When we say their throats long, na how they want to buy their next house, now they think now. In fact, Professor Keyamo dey think of how he want to step up on that house when he buy. He wants to buy a newer one in a very choice area. Then you won't get one for Dubai. Now those ones you dey talk to on a weekend they don't give minister of when not be minister for Abuja now. First time in 47 years. When that one they don't strategically place, say in case rerun, so that it go rerun will never happen. He said may rerun happen, may everywhere just crash. May everywhere sink. There's no need. It's a waste of time. There's no need. May everything just dabaru. May we know say we dey go our way. Now which house of assembly wan sign down law when you dey talk about? They no go sign chingbang. They are there to collect their all the money that they use for bribing and doing all manner of evil things. That's why their position is temporary. It is only temporary. You know, I agree with you. Every Nigerian, this way they carry them go when they say when they go when we'll give them opportunity for them to send us to go fight our brothers and sisters. Make everybody just come out, come riot. When we come protest, when we protest against them because we don't need them. Person wey never chop belle full, now want to go fight him brother and sister. Soldiers are crying, secretly sending letters to people on Twitter and all places to come and be talking for them. The morale is low. A soldier making 57,000 naira a month, my goodness. Less than that one, not less than $50. $60 maybe. Hi God, I beg go. A month. Now that kind of person want me come fight for you. The 36, that's putting it mildly because they know they talk true for Nigerian media. 36 people when all these terrorists bring down from plane. Wetin don happen to them? Their families now. Some of those people that are married, they have children. Children have been made. They don't lose papa, lose mama on top of this craze one and one start for Nigeria. Until Peter Obi gets in, nothing. Now Peter Obi head, now they catch all of them. So now he make confusion upon confusion. They don't even know what to do. Look at the kind of people that they have as ministers and House of Rep members. Look at the type of people dragging themselves up and down. Hey, God forbid. People they buy every day. They never address wetin dey house now. Na Western interest na be the focus. Since this man enter Western interest, how they want to send troops to Niger, na dem dey think since. Squeeze the life out of the citizens to get the money. God abeg o. I never see evil dey this world o. Evil get level for this world. I no dey beg judiciary o. If judiciary likes, let them do what they are supposed to do. If they like, let them not do. You see this whole thing, to consume them too. So hey, If they like, let them not do the needful. Oh. You are afraid. You are afraid for your life. If it was not for, if you people did not sell out in the beginning, the people that you're afraid of ought to be afraid of you. Now they're supposed to they say, hey, we hope judiciary rules in our favor. But now tables have turned. Now judiciary can't dey fear una. Only one man just sit down. And West just dey use am, dem dey happy because dem get opportunity enter Nigeria. They can't take the mineral resources wey we get, add join the one wey dem. The ones wey dem no even know say dey exist, dem don know now. So dem wan come. So dem go use the guys say dem wan come fight Niger take enter Nigeria. Oh God. Oh, meanwhile there will be double dealers. The ones wey dey talk for front go dey talk for back, dey talk for side. Wuruwuru go dey everywhere, banditry everywhere. How long Sudan don dey fight now? How long? Fight don dey Sudan for how long? Not only recently when they divide the thing even for red, but e don continue again. Fight since in almost all African countries there's unrest. And then you see younger people when they come out, they take their future in their hand. They tell you they want send troops, make they go fight. Abeg o, God forbid. Hey! Mm-mm. Well, what's going on in the comment section? Kene, who dey toast you? Who you dey toast? Okpeya. Romari say which kind kpako love be that? You people will not kill me in this comment section. I said, what's going on? There's back and forth. I used to enjoy just sitting with you and breaking egusi seed. Hey. What kind of village love is that? Romari, life was so simple and sweet. Look at these people, eh? Romari come say na kpako love. A whole part-time ajebo like me, abeg o. Romari has rejected hard life. Romari want soft life, oh, abeg. Na soft life. Who dey break egusi? Who dey break egusi now? Well, I've shared my link. If anybody get wetin dem wan add, make dem come add. Me, I waka go my own, abeg. Otherwise, we carry go. Let me play some music. While some people are in love here, then people are talking love matters. Make I kuku play music for now, make it complete. Wait, oh.
One of the enduring legacies I would like to leave is to entrench a process of free, fair, transparent, and credible election.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We are experiencing a live proceeding from the courts on Twitter. Shout out to you, C. Maxwell. Shout out to General Ology. Shout out to Cal. Shout out to Sarah Ibrahim. God bless you.
INEC rig the election, do selection. Overwhelming evidence, say this. Them say go to court, we did the court. Over evidence, food is ground. Double nomination is against constitution. Overwhelming evidence, food is ground. To all the judges, do the right thing, Over evidence, food is ground. Shout out to the EU for your report, Overwhelming evidence, food is ground. The test and receipt, did the report, Over evidence, food is ground. Even on the IRF, on top of beaver, overwhelming evidence, dead is ground. The world is watching, do the right thing, Over evidence, food is ground. Aye, overwhelming evidence, food is ground.
Political power is not going to be served in a restaurant. It's not served in a la carte. At all costs, fight for, grab it, snatch it.
Yes, Nigeria is bleeding because of corruption. Too much evidence, food is 25%. The mandate of the people has been stolen. Over evidence, no technicality. man, oh. Because overwhelming evidence, foolish grand, oh. Nigeria Judiciary, you are now on trial. For evidence, lay this ground. To all the judges, it's your time to shine, oh. Over evidence, foolish grand, oh. All eyes on judiciary, the world is watching, oh. Too much evidence, foolish ground. Aye, overwhelming.
The Commission will upload all the irregular results, and citizens will have access to those results in real time as we upload the report. This innovation was introduced by the Commission. The Commission cannot turn around and undermine this side.
Overwhelming evidence, take this ground.
We won the election over province.
These people finish work for this song, though. Honestly, even myself, I was dancing. Hmm? Hmm. Hey, can they say we used to break palm kernel and drink with Gary, and we were happy. You are who, Kene? You are who? Egbami, palm kernel and drink, and we were happy. How, Romary? Look at what Kene has brought you to. Today, if you don't use steak, you are not happy. Now steak. Oh, I can leave now. Take me back to when life was simple. Take you back to when you used to hold hand. Only hand alone. Your heart go dey beat fast. You say, oh, I just like the person. Fashi. Oh, by the way, when I hear story of I don't know, there's some lady, he apparently marriage. He marry one guy, whether na 100 million they say they spent for the marriage or so. 2 months after the marriage, the guy leave and go end up with a side chick. The woman go third mainland bridge, wan go kpai himself. Make I show una the video sef. Make I see am. Make I have the video. Let me see. People come dey hold am o. Dey say, please o, it's not e never reach like that now. Why you want to kpai yourself? Dem dey hold the woman no gree o, because some man disappoint the man wey she marry, spending over 100 million in marriage ceremony. E go kpai, e leave am come go marry side chick. Na im the woman say that life is not worth living no more. So she decide say she want to end it all. People come dey drag her, dey hold her, keep her. She kept forcing herself. She was insisting that she wants to go and kpai herself, because she can't live without, I guess maybe the shame. I don't know what it is. Make I share the video for them, because no go let me go see this kind thing. I said, too. Ngwanu, what's going on here? Hey. All the ego. Yeah. He can't. Hey. Now, wow. I don't understand. I don't understand. It's kind of yeah. Let me show you guys the video. Yeah, she spent 100 million. Oh, you don't understand the story. Make her share am. Maybe I not be good storyteller now. Yeah, na im be this. So I see the thing. Breaking news: popular socialite, businesswoman. I don't know these people. I don't know her. Frida, who is a mother of three today, tried to kpai herself. I don't want to use the word, by jumping over Third Mainland Bridge after her new handsome Bobo, whom she splashed millions on him. Then in other places, they said it was about 100 million she spent. She spent millions on him and their expensive wedding. Dumped her just few months after their talk of the town wedding. Frida, who is a single mother of three, had quarreled with all her friends, family, and business associates who were warning her against remarrying and were telling her that the man was only after her money. She cut ties with everyone and went ahead to marry the man who she thought was the love of her life, only for the man to disgrace and dump her. Hey, but the people they write this story, Sha, did you have to write it like that? Hey, just less than 3 months after their star-studded talk of a town wedding and started publicly body shaming her, Frida today decided to end it all by jumping over the third mainland bridge, but she was luckily rescued by passers-by. How can I hear the video? That's her right there.
I see you.
That's the man. Beautiful children. Man, they spend money on see cake oh. Yeah. How be the cloth when she wear for here, she wear for that first one no more. Okay now. So
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Asofred. This is Alfred Frida. My name is Farida Abdulkadre. I'm going to say some few words in Yoruba because if I'm going to say it in English, it's not going to go the way I want it to go. I will say it in Yoruba because of the saga on Instagram. First and foremost, I'm going to start with Eshe. Mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn tó dúró tì mí. Mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn ẹbí mi, gbogbo àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ mi, gbogbo àwọn àǹtí mi, gbogbo àwọn àyànfẹ́ mi, gbogbo àwọn tó dúró tì mí ní àsìkò tá a wà yìí. Ní àsìkò tí mo kóra mi jáde bí ọmọ ọdún mẹ́jọ ní orí Instagram, orí Facebook. Ìfẹ́ ló tì mí débẹ̀. Ìfẹ́ ni ẹni tó bá ti wà ní shoes mi tí ó lọ yóò fẹ́. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Asofred. This is Alfred. I understand ibi tí mo lọ pé mi ò kì í ṣe ọ̀dẹ láti pé bóyá kí n ná ara, kí n ná owó, kí n ná gbogbo ẹ̀ pé lórí ìfẹ́ tí mo rò pé mo ti rí ìfẹ́ ìfẹ́ àti èèyàn tó yẹ pé mò ń fẹ́ tó ní mo máa dọlọ́mọ láyé, òun máa jẹ́ kí n dọlọ́mọ láyé, òun máa dúró tì mí, ó ti lérí oríṣiríṣi tó lérí fún mi, tó sọ gbogbo ẹ̀ fún mi. Kò ṣe pé bóyá ọ̀dẹ̀ ni mí àbí owó yẹn pọ̀ ní ọwọ́ mi ni, àbí mi ò mọ nǹkan tí mò ń ṣe, mi ò kí ń ṣọmọdé. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin abiyamọ ayé, gbogbo àǹtí mi, gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n mi, gbogbo àwọn fáǹsì mi, gbogbo àwọn sísítà mi, gbogbo ẹ̀yin àbúrò mi, ẹ dákun, gbogbo ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ láàárín èmi àti ex.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry about that.
I understand ibi tí mò ń lọ pé mi ò kì í ṣe ọ̀dẹ láti pé bóyá kí n ná ara, kí n ná owó, kí n ná gbogbo ẹ̀ pé lórí ìfẹ́ tí mo rò pé mo ti rí ìfẹ́ àti èèyàn tó yẹ pé mò ń fẹ́ tó ní mo máa dọlọ́mọ láyé, òun máa jẹ́ kí n dọlọ́mọ láyé, òun máa dúró tì mí, ó ti lérí oríṣiríṣi tó lérí fún mi, tó sọ gbogbo ẹ̀ fún mi. Kò ṣe pé bóyá ọ̀dẹ̀ ni mí àbí owó yẹn pọ̀ ní ọwọ́ mi ni, àbí mi ò mọ nǹkan tí mò ń ṣe, mi ò kí ń ṣọmọdé. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin abiyamọ ayé, gbogbo àǹtí mi, gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n mi, gbogbo àwọn fáǹsì mi, gbogbo àwọn sísítà mi, gbogbo ẹ̀yin àbúrò mi, ẹ dákun, gbogbo ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ láàárín èmi àti ex ọkọ tí mo fẹ́ kẹ́ dáríjì mi. Mo fẹ́ kẹ́ dáríjì mi lórí gbogbo wàhálà tí mo kó yín sí. Ẹ dákun, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ nítorí Ọlọ́run, ẹ dáríjì mi, ẹ̀yin fáǹsì. I understand ibi tí mò ń lọ pé mi ò ẹ̀yin fáǹsì mi, ẹ dáríjì mi. Ẹ dáríjì mi, gbogbo wàhálà tó lọ lórí Gistlover, lórí Facebook, lórí gbogbo ẹ dáríjì mi. Ex ọkọ mi, Ọlọ́run ó máa fún ẹ níyàwó tó máa dúró tì ẹ́, ìyàwó alálùbáríkà ni Ọlọ́run ó máa pèsè fún ẹ. Gbogbo àràbù tó rà fún mi, mo ti dáríjì ẹ. Tó bá dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé bí mo bú ẹni, dáríjì mi. Bọ̀ ẹ̀yin bloggers tí ẹ gbé gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ àti Bukky Jesse, ẹ ṣé o, ẹ kú àdúró tì mí. Ìyá Ẹsẹ́bọ̀dù, màmá mi Aláṣàbí, ọmọ òní kú fún yín o, ẹ ṣé o, tẹ dúró tì mí. Ẹ̀yin Gistlover tó jẹ́ kí gbogbo ayé mọ tòótọ́, tó jẹ́ kó mọ̀ pé àràbù náà rà fún mi. O ṣé o, ò ní gbé anything sí láyé ẹ, iṣẹ́ ò ní dàrú mọ́ ẹ lọ́wọ́, ò ní ṣubú. Ẹ̀yin fáǹsì mi, ẹ dáríjì mi. Ẹ dáríjì mi, gbogbo wàhálà tó lọ lórí Gistlover, lórí Facebook, lórí gbogbo ẹ dáríjì mi. Ex ọkọ mi, ìjẹ́ ò ní bàjẹ́. Lizzy Anjorin, mi ò bọjà ẹ jẹ́ o, Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ ní bọjà ẹ jẹ́ o, Ọlọ́run ní bọjà ẹ jẹ́ o, mi bọjà ẹ jẹ́ o. Má bínú, àti Fáṣàwẹ̀, ẹ má bínú. Ọmọ òní kú fún yín, Ọlọ́run nílé yín kúrò ní ọ̀dọ̀ ọkọ yín, ẹ má bínú. Afọ́ríọlá, ẹ má bínú. Àti Yẹ́misí tó pẹ́ yín gan náà, ẹ má ṣe jù báyìí lọ, ẹ má bínú. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ kí everybody kó dáríjì mi. Aláṣàbí, ọ̀rẹ́ mi, sísítà mi, a kì í ṣe ọ̀rẹ́. Larit, gbogbo nǹkan tí bá ṣe fún ẹ, dáríjì mi. Gbogbo nǹkan tó dẹ̀ ti ń ṣe fún mi náà, mo ti dáríjì ẹ. Tá a bá ń jà kò láìkú lọ. Tá a bá ń jà, mi wish ẹ ní báyìí, ìjẹ́ ò ní bàjẹ́. Lizzy Anjorin, mi ò bọjà ẹ jẹ́ o, Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ ní bọjà ẹ jẹ́ o, Ọlọ́run ní bọjà ẹ jẹ́ o, mi bọ.
So basically, the summary of it is that for those who don't understand Yoruba, she said everything she did, it was out of love. It was out of love that she did everything that she did, and that she was apologizing to some people. I don't really know them like that, but she was apologizing to some people, and that it's not as if she's a child. She's not a child. It was love that made her do that, and she was thanking everyone that has stood by her, all her friends, and I think Gistlover maybe had something to do with it too. Like Gistlover brought out the truth, shared the truth on her platform, and she's crying. Obviously, she's very emotional. Man, that woman is in pain, oh. Can only pray for her. That woman is in a lot of pain. And she has 3 kids. She said something though. I was like, she said the guy told her that he will make her a mother. Yeah, a mother. And I'm wondering, she already has 3 children. What does she mean by that? You know? Are those children not hers? Why is she saying the man says he will make her a mother? But anyways, she's in a lot of pain. And me, I no sabi laugh person when they that kind pain, you know. We go just pray make God heal her heart. E no easy. Maybe who know wetin the guy tell am. You know say some guys get sweet mouth. Who know wetin the guy don tell am, you know. Well, I don't know wetin to talk. I feel so sorry for her. Hearing her cry and just talk like that is very sad, you know. It's so sad. Eh? Yeah, unfortunately in Nigeria, that's the thing. Nigeria, there's this pressure to get. She has 3 children, so in my mind, I'm like, if you have 3 children, just live your life, even if you don't have. You don't have to. It's not a criteria, but just live. I don't know. In Nigeria, it's very difficult because people. There's a lot of pressure around you in Nigeria. Your family is pressurizing you. Your friends are pressurizing you. The society itself is pressurizing you. Everybody's telling you go get married, go get married, go get married, and yeah, maybe it's part of the pressure that she bought. And some of these people, it's also cultural. I know for a fact Yoruba women, when they take marriage play, that one is a something for them. They love marriage well well. So that also plays a role. It's very heartbreaking, Sha, to see this kind of person, to see her go through this kind of pain to the point that she wants to buy herself. My people, you can imagine the kind of pain that woman is in. Hey, God, I beg you. May God not let us feel pain when go make us feel like say you want to end it all. That's not funny now. You know, it's not funny. Hi, kai, 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 kai. It's sad. The woman they cry. Oh, wetin her children go do now? Her children will be helpless. What can they do? Nelly, you were saying that she did an exorbitant. Yeah, I showed pictures of it. I mean, I showed videos of it. It looked like it was a huge wedding. I mean, we saw Mercy Aigbe there now and Iyabo Ojo. They were there. Yeah, public humiliation was too much for her to handle. Uh, that is why I don't like pepper them life, man. I know, I don't get it when people do this pepper them thing. I don't understand it. Because for me, I'm like, man, this is a personal thing. Who you want to pepper? You just invite unnecessary attention. I mean, that's me though. That's me. Everybody not feel be like me. So that's why the world is fun, I guess. But I know all this pepper them, who you want pepper? I don't understand. If the thing not work, all the people you want pepper, they go there in their house, they sip pina colada. They chop better isiewu with their partners. I don't understand though. Eh? Man, my sister, I no know. May God not let us experience pain wey go make person feel that way o. Hey, God abeg. See grown woman, she wan throw herself over the bridge. Her wedding was barely a month. Oh wow, I thought it was like, oh wow. So that means the man did not spend up to, hey, the man waka. So did the man just maybe take advantage of her and just left her? Because even in the pictures, he wasn't smiling. The guy put dark shade for eye. Just they do like oga. Be like who they happy. Be like happy spouse. Yeah, Efrata, that's true. And my heart goes out to her too and her family. Oh my, no, hey, God, I beg. Romari say if she has another 100 in some quarters, that's what they were saying she spent. I can't find the article. I can't find the video. I saw that one. They're saying she spent 100 million on her wedding. I know if she has another 100 million, she bring it. Let me marry. Oh my God, Romari, you want marry a call 100 million? Yeah. The embarrassment she will feel after she realized what she almost did to herself will be so embarrassing to her. Hmm. Yeah. She will think about it again and she'll be embarrassed all over. I just pray for her healing. It's not, it doesn't matter. As long as she's alive, people move, they move past all these stories. Sharp, sharp. People don't move past her. So I wouldn't, I hope she has the right people around her so she doesn't worry herself. I no think about that one o. Efrata, na true you talk o, because that kind thing dey happen for that side. Oh my God, it's possible o, no be clear eye. Hey, Efrata, na true you talk o. um all that glitters is not gold, my sister, say that again. That's true too, Romary, you're right. There are many women on that table, desperation, anything just to have a man. I know there are so many, so many. There are many, I know. You're right. That one is true too. Everything is not jazz. That's true also. If the man wanted her money, he won't end it after 3 months. He must have been taking some now before he even got to the point of maybe they say they want to get married. He go down the jaye now. He go down dey collect the money since now. He not just collect am then, you know. So some of these men they're after money too. Oh. Leave that thing. They are gold diggers. Men, some men are gold diggers too. Come on now, Kene. I know you want to defend your brothers, but come on now. Yeah, yeah. Emma Binu, yes, it means I'm sorry. Yeah. Don't be angry. Don't be angry. Emma Binu, don't be angry. That's what it means. But you can also say I'm sorry or something like I'm sorry is ekpele. That's what I'm sorry is. Emma Binu is don't be angry, don't be upset. Mm. Ginormous table. These women, yeah, that's true. You are right, Romari. We've seen it. Desperation. Desperation is not good, though. And people, don't be. It's not. Never be desperate for anything. I don't care what it is. People are going to have assumptions about you all day, every day. It doesn't matter, you know. All fingers are not equal. Never ever be desperate. Now, desperation, I dey cause some of this hard pain, to be honest. You know, I'm sure that somehow the handwriting was on the wall, but she go ignore some things that are obvious. She go ignore and say, man, na man, just to carry on. You know what I mean? Ah, Kene, you want to be a part-time lover. I go just report you to our Ada sharply. I go say you hear wetin Kene dey want talk. Kene say he want to be part-time lover. Hey, he wan sign up for gigolo work. When we hear wetin Ada go talk for that one before you proceed, because you need to vet the application. But if you are the only one spending and caring and the man is not investing, you are on your, yeah, exactly. So again, it bothers. If she spent all that money, how much did the guy now spend? Does it mean that the guy didn't spend anything? You know what I mean? Does it mean the guy did not put out anything at all? Because that seems like a lot for one person to carry. And why did she have to invest so much, and put herself out like that? That's probably also part of the pain, because it seemed like now she can't marry the man. So how much did the guy spend? Man, she has kids, exactly. She has kids. She has a lot to. She got, even if she doesn't have kids, there's life, man. Is it Nasdaq? Kene. By how did she trick him into marrying her, Kene? Hey! How? They trick na the baby when they trick. Come on now. Na baby. Na baby, na in the man be when they trick. Hey, Kene. Kenny, you're coming to the defense of your men. I see. You're being partial. You're being biased here. Yeah, I'm not on anybody's side. I don't know these people, to be honest. I don't know. I just came across the story and I felt bad for her. Like, wow. And then I started reading this stuff. I was like, wow, she spent. And I saw another article saying she spent over 100 million. I'm like, oh my God. You know? I beg, can you just sit down. Just go sit down for one place. He got mad at her for not dishing out more money. Oh, really? Let me see if I can find more details on this thing. Let me go to man. I know they do all these kind of stories, but this woman oh make me sad. I felt so bad for her. I'm like, oh my god. For her to get to the point where she won't buy herself, it's disturbing, my people. Let's Joe open eye say he want buy himself like that. Let me see gist of her. Gist of her usually has the let me see. Okay, let me share this. So no read out together. Oh wow. No read out together. I bring them up. So apparently here it says abeg make una no vex for the delay. I go dey meet the south since yesterday. We dey arrange the actual okay. As we dey like this now another okay DJ whatever. Let me get to where the gist is. Um let me get to the main gist. Let me see if she is. No, wait. Uh, okay, so a call for help, please. Who is with House of Frida? This video was sent to me now that she has rescued a few minutes ago while trying to buy herself. No wonder I sent her a message to ask how she is. Demola, you do this one though. So it looks like Demola is a man. Please, who knows her whereabouts now? Is she safe? Okay, I don't know where to find the story. Nelly, do you know where I can find that story? I just want to get a little bit insight. He got mad at her for not dishing out more money to him. Can you imagine the audacity? Eh? You dey hear now, okay? Some men they be gold diggers. You don't know. He left her with a lady. He left her for a lady with less money. How do you know that, Kene? That means you know the story too. He left her for a lady with less money. How do you know that, Kene? Come on now. Hi. Welcome, oh Gravitas. Good to have you. Welcome. We don't from politics enter another matter. That woman tears. I no go lie. When I see say the woman won't buy herself, it got me interested in her. I was like, what? Why? They said the guy is a conductor. Hey! Na conductor she go marry. Agbero Omota. Oh my God. So she spent all the money. She's the one that spent all the Touch the guy up. You know, see, I buy a green, wetin dem dey call that material again? That shine material. Green suede. No be wear so. Hey! Aye o. Are you serious? Wow. Yeah, I'm talking about. I don't know where to find the story. I saw it on Gossip Mill, Niger. So I was like, what's the deal with this story? I shared it earlier. Let me see if I can go back and share because this gist lover not really give me wetin I want know. I don't understand. Man, that's sad though. But why? Okay, so I think I found something here on gist lover. Hold on one second. Um, Chai. Now, wow, God abeg o. Wetin be dis? Is okay. Popular socialite and skincare vendor House of Frida marriage crashes 2 months after 2 months after their 100 million wedding. Make I carry una go through wetin cause fight. It will be in series as evidence plenty and can be posted at once. We'll touch every angle. Okay, meet the married woman, Yemisi Fashawe, that made Demola pack out of his wife's house. According to information reaching headquarters, Yemisi Fashawe is a married woman. Ha! Now wow, the thing come get twist and turn o. So the woman when the man go meet na married woman and was Demola's secret lover. Ah! Yeah? Even before the wedding between Demola and Farida Loba. Hey! What is going on in this world? Are you serious? Na married women dey run things pass o. All you single women. Some married women dey run things, na dem dey run things pass. Okay, ma finish the story, more na no vex. Yemisi Fashawe is a married woman and was Demola's secret lover before the wedding between Demola and Farida. Wahala started when Yemisi sent messages to Demola say no be the agreement be that o. The agreement be say make Demola look for woman wey go born for am. Ha! And why will Demola marry Farida? Say the marriage no go last. Say na she Demola like and he's just with Farida because of her money. Eh? Na dey hear am. Na so Farida go jam all their messages. So she saw the messages. How Yemisi dey call Demola pet name like Akoni and all. Na so Farida vex call Yemisi o, begin swear for her. Yemisi in turn call Demola. See tori o. Okoko bí òkò. Make we see o. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Demola to report Farida. Na so Demola vex. Wait o, Demola, okay. Let me start from a. Okay, na so Demola vex come pack im load. For Farida house. All pleased to make him stay turned on deaf ears. Right before the issue of Yemisi, the couple has been having several issues of which we'll talk all about and post evidence tomorrow. Most of GLB branch go don dey sleep now. One of the numerous problems they have in the marriage be say Demola Gbola no gree work. Yeah. Woo! Whoa. TMI. Wow, woo. It's from one herbs to another. Basing an ex-convict. Wow, who just returned from the prison. My God, my head, I don dey fear headache. Farida think say na why prick no work until Demola tell Farida say she look like 80-year-old woman. Say na why im gbola no dey stand. Say im gbola dey stand for outsiders. Oh my God, this is too much information. Salogwa. See matter plenty now, but for now, make I come in peace first. Oh my goodness. What kind of 100 million oh my people. Nice. Na the woman spend for that kind marriage. Now wow. People dey spend money oh. To. Wow. I know. Oh my God. This is part of the desperation we're talking about. I saw it this morning before I went to work. The story is wild. So the woman he left her for is also a married woman he was doing on that G with. So she was that one's plaything. Hey, omo, this life don spoil o. I'm sorry. Chai! I can't wait for a day when Nigerian women will stop carrying marriage. I'm telling you, gravitas, they sell that market like hot akara. I never see. They will put up with all manner of rubbish. They will take all kinds of BS just to Nigerian women, I love us so, but you see on that matter, I can't wrap my mind around it. I can't. Eh? It's too much. They take too much. Imagine this woman spending 100 million, for crying out loud. Do you know what 100 million naira is? She could have done so many things with that money that will be yielding interest for her. She won't have to work a day in her life ever. Oh my God. And then her children. Did she have savings for her children? Does she have a trust for them before doling out 100 million on him? God. Agbero for that matter. I'm not saying they're not be human beings, so, but come on now. Come on. Oh, they arrested her? Why arrest her now? Is it arrest? They will arrest somebody that wants to buy themselves. Anyway, in Nigeria, why am I surprised? Kene, you not even last 3 months for the marriage now. Kene, I know say you want to protect your brother, but sorry, he can't be you can't save him. Kene say for all to chop the money. Kene, abeg o. Park where? What you mean by that one now? There's a woman that's suffering right now. Are you kidding me? If the woman focus on her business and children and take work on herself, it will do her a lot of. Imagine the children growing up, but I know, because of one man. I just read the story now. Kenny, I just read the story. The thing no stand, e no gree stand, the thing no work. Then e come start to dey gaslight the woman, dey say na because she be like 80-year-old woman. She's a top bleaching cream seller in Lagos. When they say she's a seller of, I say, you know, pass bleaching cream. Hi, guy. It is a messy story, man. God, I dey shame. Kai, I dey shame. Gravitas, my God. A whole, ay. Oh my God. I mean, the fact that there are married women, is a married woman that is involved in all of this is even disturbing enough. People don't have regards for marriage anymore. Maybe I'm old fashioned. I don't understand. Maybe I'm really, really old fashioned, though, to be honest. Hey, you carry pekus. Your husband pekus, you go give am to another person for outside. So, oh, I don't know. This lover even posted all the agbo. Kai, are you serious? This lover posted all the agbo when the man they use. Hey God, I not see that one though. I see whether I go fit. Okay, be like say na him be this. Na him be this. No, not being the this. Yeah. Kai. No. Chai. I don't know. Wow. Oh God. Kenny, abeg pack well. Not only you be the man for here. I see why you're standing up for your brother. This Bola problem. Did this Bola problem start after the marriage? It looks like, because I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Because according to the story we just read now, the guy thing, no, there was issues with it. Hi. How can police will arrest her and commit her to a psychiatric home? Is that what they do? Nigeria, or victim way frustrated is getting her. I'm telling you, as I'm like, why would the police arrest her? Wow, I don't know. She was probably committed. Okay. Hi. Wow. Kene, how do you know the Gbola is walking outside? Hey, Kene, were you there? You did there. Be like say, now you be the guy bodyguard. I don't understand. You dey come, I don't understand though. It's not his fault. Maybe he doesn't like bleach. Oh my God. He not see am before he marry am. Aye. Bleaching another business, now big business for Nigeria now. Yeah. F Emmanuel, welcome. Oh my God. Hey, this matter, I no fit talk again. Welcome, welcome.
My
Good
sister
evening.
Omoyo, good evening. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, sir.
All these kpekus and no kpekus and all that, this whole matter, let me just tell you one thing I've discovered about this, extramarital affair and all that. Sometimes you can't blame the man, and also sometimes you can't blame the woman. Probably before the guy got married, he must have found the woman, sexually compatible. Because there's one thing about this sex of a thing. If you are not careful, once you get compatible sexually with a particular person, even when you eventually get married, your mind will always go back to that person that you're sexually compatible. You might not be compatible maritally, but sexually might be compatible. You might find out that the person you eventually marry, your spouse, might not be sexually compatible with him or her, right? You might love your spouse, but when it comes to the aspect of purpose, you find out that you're more compatible with that other person. That maritally, you cannot marry that person, no. Either the man or either the woman, you cannot take him or her as a husband or as a wife. But sexually, you just find out that both of you flow, and in that kind of situation, you stand a great danger of cheating on your spouse, except maybe you have a kind of, maybe God just deliver you from that kind of a thing. Otherwise, it takes God's grace. I'm telling you, it takes God's grace. So in the aspect of that woman cheating on her husband, probably the husband is not performing at maximal, optimum level, you know. So she must have seen that, I'm more okay with this side guy. So let me just see how I can just hold him and keep him, have it to myself. Even if the guy get married, it doesn't matter, but I just want to have him anytime I need him for satisfaction and all that. I will always go back to him and all that. That's just the contract they keep having with each other. You can see that the woman cannot just let go. The same thing today with the young man, even though he just got married newly, he will just begin to compare and contrast between the utility he derived from both his real wife and the other side, will I say baby mama or mama, because this one now already is already a married woman, you know. So these are the things that happen in our society today.
Wait. What I'm on that. What I'm here. I mean, I'm very honestly. I'm not on. I hear what you're saying, but I'm trying to make it make sense for me. So you're saying that maybe she's not sexually compatible with the man. That's what you're saying, right? So he is most likely compatible with his married woman girlfriend because they satisfy each other sexually. So now my question is, then why did he marry her? That's the question. Because I don't understand it. If you're married, I mean, if you're marriage is a covenant on its own. I'm not even talking about forget Christianity now, because we're spiritual beings.
Yeah. That's why I'm responding on the basis of I'm not quoting any scripture. I'm
Yeah.
not say I'm not ahead. I'm just
I'm trying to one second, F Emmanuel. I'm trying to land. See,
okay.
so I know you're not talking Christianity. I know that. I'm just saying that if that is the case, why did the man end up marrying this woman? Because there's no way he would not have known that they were not sexually compatible. There's no way he would not have known that. So why didn't he just keep doing his eating his stolen meat? Just they eat and they go according to their arrangement and not deal with this woman. Because it doesn't make sense. The kind of pain that this woman is going through right now. If it's not so, it's not even good for him to put someone in a position to experience that type of pain. I don't know if you know what, if and you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
I get
even
your point.
disturbing that it's a married woman, and this a lot of this is happening. I'm hearing that a lot, and it's very nauseating.
So,
That
Omer, you're saying that this young guy had been with the married woman before he got married, right?
I'm saying, why did he marry this woman if he knew that they were not sexually compatible?
No, see, I think, okay, let me get your point clearly. This guy has been with this married woman even before he got married, right? Is that the picture?
It looks like they were, maybe they were seeing each other. I don't know. That's the story I read.
Okay.
They got married. Nadia we know them. So definitely they would have known each other before they married now. They would have known each
Okay.
other. He was dating a married woman. He was doing on that G with a married woman. He was a sugar boy for a married woman. Let me put it that way. He was a gigolo for a married woman. He now met this woman. Okay. So in the
Okay,
time,
but the lady he met, she was single, right?
seeing no husband, but she has 3 children.
She already have 3 kids.
Yeah.
Okay, now I get your point. I
And
get
then
your
part of the
point.
problem they were according to what we read, is that the man thing the response. Okay, that was part of the woman's complaint, you know.
Okay, the
And
one that
then
has 3 kids, right?
yeah, she already has 3 kids according to what I read. Yes, she already has 3 kids.
Mm, mm, it's complicated. Wow. Don't you think the other mama has, diabolically done something? Don't you think so?
Within 2 months, well, here's the story. She found the messages between him and the married woman.
Mm,
So she confronted him. Now we don't know if anything else happened. I don't live with them, so I don't know. I'm just going off of the story that was shared. Okay. Now, even if the woman
mm,
dis here's the thing: when you marry somebody, here when you before you marry somebody, you go don't see things, you go don't see the traits. I mean, we are nobody be fool. If you want marry somebody, you go don't see waiting, you see whether you fit cope with this person or not. So
you're
clearly
right.
there might have been
Mm,
signs that both of maybe she ignored, because now she, to me, she did desperate. Now make her marry that guy. Because number one, the guy now Agbero, first of all, right? So she
mm,
did desperate. Now she say, okay, let me touch this guy up, right? And marry him. I think that's what happened. So there must have been traits there. Now I'm not saying, I don't know them. I'm just assuming, I don't know anything about them. But there might have been traits there. So why even go into the marriage at all? If the trait you
mm,
already know, say this woman, maybe you feel a type of way about her, why go into
mm.
it? It doesn't make any sense. Only for you to go into
Yeah,
it, two
you're right.
months you leave am, waka comot, go meet your married woman girlfriend. E no make sense.
Yeah, from frying pan to fire.
Yeah, and the woman spend 100 million for the marriage, for the wedding alone.
Really?
Yes, and part of the story is that the guy said he wasn't giving her, doling out enough money to her. Hey God.
Mm. Oh, wow.
Hey, not much, man. Confused.
This is strange.
Okay, see.
Romari say,
Well,
no, Romari say it is possible that the other woman tied his bowler to only work for her. Strange things they happen for Nigeria. I can't.
diabolically, yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree with that. That yeah, a lot of things happen. Some people go the extra mile and look, okay, so this can only perform, this can only function on my end. If it
Yeah.
goes any other end, it will not perform. It will not work. So there's a lot of things that must have happened. Wow.
Okay. So Gravitas is saying, I feel like it was all fun and games for him, when they were not married, and he was collecting her money without any permanent ties. After Bobo realized say na for life he dey with this woman, he japa. Hi, hi, omo. It's a very, very shameful story, Sha. I mean, the woman that is married, that is, I'm hearing a lot, especially married women, and they run things. I don't understand. The life is now upside down.
Yeah, they are the most dangerous thing nowadays to do
Now, single women can't even get
nowadays.
morals past married women. It's very, to me, it's very surprising.
Uh, they are more dangerous than the singles. So why? Because there's no trace of anything. You understand? They can't leave any trace. But the singles, anyhow, if either you don't get pregnant or something, I they are at disadvantage. But for the married ones, you find out that they have nothing to lose. All they need is just the pleasure, so they can as well do whatever they want to do,
Mm-hmm.
confidently and without their husbands knowing. So they are more deadlier than the singles. The singles they tread with caution, knowing fully well that I'm still gonna get married someday, you know. But these other ones, they're already married. They got nothing to lose.
Yeah, it's
You
shocking
understand?
because the married women are the ones snatching the word snatch. Although I don't believe anybody
The,
can be snatched.
the
The man's
competition is
supposed
so
to
high
be,
right now.
eh?
The married one, I said the competition is pretty high right now. The married one are rightly out competing the singles.
Huh.
Seriously, yeah, they are out competing the singles because they actually have nothing to lose. Why their husbands are busy, they are busy cutting shows behind the door.
That's
They can,
disturbing.
and they can do it neatly. It just spoil. You don't need to spend so much. You can do it neatly, you know, without keeping any trace. So
Hi.
we are
Now,
in a
wow.
dangerous world today.
I'm telling you, it is. Oh, it is. It really is
Very
sad.
dangerous,
You know.
you know.
Yeah, gravitas.
And what and the most painful part of it is that sometimes you see that the married ones they just get tired of maybe probably with their spouse at home. They just needed something new, and if you have the opportunity to ask their spouse, they will tell you that for so months or for so weeks, I've got nothing to do with my wife or something. So you begin to wonder why is this woman not, allowing the husband to have his way. Keep wondering. If you check very well, you find out that the wife is cutting show somewhere, she's getting something else somewhere. You know, why the man of the house is busy probably working, maybe you are working one or two, three jobs somewhere or something, or maybe you keep be traveling here and there. So gone are those days that you think that women are faithful. Not in this dispensation anymore. It's very rare, except for few God fearing ones. You know, right now they even have a website where married women you can fill your details. They will tell you that everything you do with it, you just need that date. Keep everything private. You know,
Are you serious? It's.
yeah, there are websites where you
Have
can,
you been to the website? How did you know?
uh, 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 if you are a researcher, you will know.
Is it a researcher?
No, it's true. You
I
know.
never research reach that one. No. They get
Okay.
website and they go sign up.
I'm telling you, they will specifically tell you these are married women that everything you're doing should be kept 101% private.
Wow.
And that website will connect you with the woman, and you just go there, the location, the timing, whatever it is you want is online. So that connecting site will connect you, and they get whatever they want to do perfectly okay, and nobody knows. It's discreet. So we are
Una dey hear wetin
in
I
the
dey
digital
hear?
age.
Researchers
I'm
in
telling
the
you, we're in
house,
the
so
digital age. If you wait, I can forward the website to you. A lot of them.
I
There
know
are
one,
ones
so
that
I
have to
know
do
one,
with
so tell me
single.
what can do.
There are still websites for single ladies, right? Categories of women, especially in this Western world. I'm serious. I've
Eh,
seen a lot.
Mwata.
Yeah. So, no, having the knowledge of what is happening does not mean that you are involved, but you should just know that these things happen, so that when you hear it, it shouldn't sound straight to you. You understand?
Man.
So we are in the last days, and the scripture says knowledge will increase. And what type of knowledge? Knowledge of evil, both good and evil. You understand?
Hi.
So when you hear such kind of thing, don't be surprised. This
I'm
is even worse
surprised,
than
but I no
Sodom,
go
Sodom
lie.
and
I think
Gomorrah.
we dey cocoon.
It's worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. So that is
Wow.
just it, my sister.
Yeah. But in the case of this woman, I
But
think
but
there's
but are you aware? Sorry, are you aware of the website? I've
mhm.
forgotten that website. I think it was even my wife that told me about the website. They were even showing it on TV, where you call it a blind date, to the point that the only day you will meet your spouse is on the day of wedding.
Oh, is it 90-day fiance? No, not 90-day
I,
fiance.
I can't.
Or is
I
it
think I
blind
think
date?
so.
I can't remember.
Blind. I think
I
that
think
blind
I've
date.
seen, yeah, I think it's blind. There's a show. I think it was used to be on
Yeah,
TLC. I know it was television, but
yeah.
yeah.
There was one. Me, I don't always have time to watch all this. There was one my wife was watching, so she followed the program to the very end. On that very day of wedding, she now called my attention to it. She said she had been following this particular program for like a few, I think 2 or 3 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
I think they show it once in a while. So on the very day of the wedding, she now called my attention to it. She said, "You see this particular program, you has been a blind date. The conditions are there. You have to do this, you have to do that, but
So
you
somebody
never
said
know."
married at first sight. Married at first sight.
Marriage at first sight, exactly. So as your so the very day the wedding gown, you will put on your suit. As you just come out, this is the person. But however, they say that on the form, as you're filling the form, you indicate your what you want. Fill the condition, fill what you want, the kind of man you want, or the kind of woman you want. But on that final day, whatever you see, that's what you take. Can you imagine that kind of situation?
Well,
And luckily for one of these guys, the marriage just lasts, I think, within few hours or so.
well, there's one, but isn't that how they used to marry back in the day? They're not they know each other like that now. That the day when they
No,
want
yeah,
marry,
no,
in
in
olden
olden
days.
days, maybe,
Yeah,
yeah, your parents can just see a young lady that has a good character. So, I'll marry you for my son or something, or
yeah,
I'll marry for my daughter or something. That
yeah.
happens in those days,
In those
and
days,
yeah, but this time around,
it's risky to
it,
do
it,
that.
it still happens. Yeah, it's difficult because people have a lot of choices, and they want to. There is this inquisitiveness of like, I want to really know who this person is. I want to know his background. I want to just People just want to know everything before
Mm-hmm.
they make up their mind. Nobody wants to just take a certain kind of risk, especially when it comes to marriage and all that. So it's just too risky and critical. Even
Ah,
the one you date have had. Before I got married, there's a friend of mine that dated his wife for 13 years, right from secondary school, that is high school, graduated, went to different universities and graduated and went to serve, different state. They posted into different state in their youth service. Yeah, still keeping in touch. You are still dating, you know. Then they now got job. I think one worked in the bank, while one worked in I think civil service or self service also. So they kept on. So they now got the point that okay, we are 30 years dating. I think it's okay for us to like get married, right? So you will think that these people they've known each other for 13 good years, right from youthful age, and their marriage is going to be superb. There's nothing hidden, there is nothing new about their life and all that. Okay, they got married. Every wedding was wonderful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the reality sets in. The marriage only lasted, let me just give it like 1 year, let me just say less than 2 years. Less than 2 years. And they broke up. So the question now is, what happened? What is this 30 years of being together as girlfriend and boyfriend? What have they been doing?
13 years.
Because the essence of
So they've
30
been dating
yes,
for 13 years.
they've been dating, yes, right from secondary school.
I have a problem with
When
that, oh, God forbid. 13 years. So it's they
so
happen from secondary school. Okay,
I don't
maybe
understand.
don't agree, made them marry
Yes.
in secondary school, but
Yeah, all these long dates. That is
yeah.
what you call in economics.
Mm-hmm.
The law of diminishing marginal utility.
Mm-hmm.
The law states that
Yeah.
that your ability of consuming A, right? Or you consume and consume and consume, there's a level of saturation. Though
Mm.
the quantity of consumption increases, but the utility derived in that consumption diminishes.
Mm. Mm.
Let me give you an example. Let's assume you go on a workout. Maybe you go on you jog maybe 1 2 hours,
Yeah.
right? You just went on a workout. By the time you come back home, you're feeling very thirsty. You
Yes.
just want to, you're just looking for water. Just want 2 3 bottles of water. You just want to swallow it, right?
Yes.
So you find out that the way you will rush the first bottle of water will not be the same way you rush the second one. Will not be the same way you rush the third one.
Mm.
You first of all rush the first one and you finish it, and you pounce on the second one. Then you start rushing it gradually. You finish it. Then you go on the third one. You find out that you start sipping it gradually. You start sipping it gradually. You know why? Because the utility, the
Yeah.
satisfaction you derive on the first bottle is not the same as the second bottle. It's not also the same as the third bottle. Though the
Right.
quantity of the bottles is increasing,
Mm.
but
Mm.
the utility derived in the consumption is declining.
Declining.
So at that point, you are saturated. So
Hmm.
probably that what happened. That's why you see some people they'll tell you, "Oh, I'm just tired of this relationship. Can we just call it a quit?" You begin to ask why. What happened? What happened? You see people marriage of 20 years, 30 years, 25 years, getting divorced. You keep asking yourself, what happened?
Hmm. So you're
You
saying,
know?
in the case of, okay, for instance, prior to my that women, are you taking note? Ladies, be taking note too. So before you get married, you can't afford to just let a man string you along, because he will be, by the time you don't saturate, when you don't satisfy, over satisfy, don't worry am. It's like, why buy the cow when I can milk the cow for free? Why buy the cow? So they talk for here. Why buy the car when you can milk it for free? That's what you're talking about. So you drink that first bottle of water because you were very thirsty when you first came in. You drink and you rush am in a gob, boom, boom, you don't finish am. By the time you get to the second bottle or the third one, you're already like you've already exhausted. Even the second one, you not really fit drink am at the speed when you take drink the first one. Then by the time you get to the third bottle, you're just taking it easy and easy. So in the case of a marriage, you're talking about a marriage now that has lasted 20, 30, 40 years. What you're saying, because remember, our parents then used to stay like 40 years, 50 years. So you're saying that for people that divorce after their 20-year marriage, they've reached that saturation point. But usually it's on one side though. It's usually sometimes it's on one side. One person is saturated and doesn't want to move forward anymore, and the second one cannot continue to carry the marriage by themselves, so they walk away. So, in that case, what advice do you have for married people who want to sustain their marriages? So in that case, how do they revitalize the marriage so that they can stay together?
Okay, for me, what I would say for married people and for those who have intention of getting married, for me is look at marriage as a workbook. Marriage is not a textbook. You have to be working out your marriage day in, day out. And I tell people, love is not enough in marriage. Love is not enough. The only thing that can sustain marriage is wisdom, knowledge, right? Knowledge. They are the only thing that can sustain no matter how. See, you see this love we call. hmm? Sometimes some people look at love, I just look at love sometimes as an emotional thing. And sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. And you can't even trace the reason why you're down. You can't even pinpoint this is why you're just feeling it's as if something just disappeared from your mind. The feeling is not there, the emotional attachment is not there. So you keep asking yourself, why am I feeling this way? Right? Because you are just human. It's normal for you to feel down sometimes, right? Sometimes you're up again, you know. So you keep asking yourself, why are you feeling like that way? Don't beat up yourself. You're being human. It's normal. But the only thing you can use to sustain and to remain, right, in love perpetually is to spice it. Try and introduce new things. Try and bring new ideas. Try and do things that you have not done before. Just some kind, small, they might not be big things, just small things, you know. Otherwise, the law of diminishing marginal utility will set in. So, you just get bored. So you hear some people say, I'm bored. What is making them feel bored in a relationship? You need to think, what is making me feel bored in this relationship? You already have 2, 3 kids, 4, 5, 6 kids, grown, have gone to college and all that. But you keep asking yourself, why? You can go.
You're breaking up, F. Emmanuel. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Your audio is out. The real definition of love is not supposed to be just emotions. That's very true, actually. It's not. It's an action word. You're breaking up. You're still going in and out. You're static. Love can also be an action. You can show your love via yeah. Love is an action, it's not even emotions. To be honest with you, that rush of emotion is a troublesome one, you know. I don't think that that's enough to sustain anything. It's an action word, and I see marriage as duty and service. That's how I see marriage, like duty and service and loyalty. Those three things come to me. I don't see marriage in terms of, oh, you have to be in love with the person to get married. No, I see it more as duty, service, and loyalty, because you're thinking about what's best for the other person. Hopefully the other person is thinking about what's best for you, right? And you're communicating on that level. Of course, it's not going to be perfect all the time, but if you have a sense of loyalty and duty to the person you're with, regardless of whether it's boring or not, you have that sense of loyalty to that person. You're like, okay, it's I don't know if you stand this woman, no, but anyway, it's person will do now. Now, she's not my favorite right now, but I gotta go home. That kind of thing. It's not necessarily love. I don't see love playing an active role in a marriage. To be honest with you, I don't. I see it more as somebody
As
taking it
responsibility
as a
and
responsibility.
commitment.
Yes, like I want to get married. That's why when you're looking out for someone, you're looking out for someone who has that commitment. You're not necessarily looking for someone who, oh my God, I'm so in love with this. No, my heart just stopped to beat if the person just waka past. No, it's more of duty. No, is this person really kind of person that has that can be committed, that's loyal, that understands what service is about. Those are the things you look out for. I don't see it in terms of love can come in, because love can grow. To be honest, if the person is kind to you, it can grow. For women, if the person
Love,
is,
love can grow, yeah.
yeah, it can grow and attentive. You might not like the person, but when the person start, when you're getting to know each other and you understand, oh, this person understands what commitment is, and you kind of agree on those things, you will like what the
And
person.
yeah,
Go
and
ahead.
sometimes, sorry to interject, and sometimes what really make people get tired, what also make people, you know, how would I put it now? Feel saturated, you know.
Mhm.
I think sometimes it's over expectation.
Okay.
Why do I say that? In your mind, we're picturing a particular, you're expecting a certain level of commitment, you're expecting certain things from your spouse, and once you see that those things are not forthcoming, right?
Mm-hmm.
You start losing hope. You start feeling weary. You start feeling, you know, depressed, a kind of, you know. But the real love we're talking about, love is all about giving. Real love does not think of its own. That's the area that people miss it. I also look at love in a different way. I look at love as a seed. How do I mean? What do I mean by that? You want to harvest a bunch of let's use a maize, a corn, for instance. Imagine you just sowed only one seed of corn, and after many months, you are now harvesting so many bunches of corn. So, but the unfortunate thing here is that people don't want to sow. People don't want to give out the love, but they want to just keep receiving. It doesn't work that way. I tell people, if you want love, if you really want love to be lavish on you, give it out, sow the seed of it. And if you can just give it out, you find out that automatically what you will reap out of it will be much more than what you even sow. Just like some people say, do unto others what you want others to do unto you. To what extent have you showed love to that man you're complaining about? To what extent have you shown love to that woman you're complaining about? So if you sow the seed of love, automatically what you sow, what you reap. If the measure of love you're giving out is the measure of affection you're showing to your spouse is 10%. So how would we are going to expect 100% or 50% or even 70% from? Are you getting my point? So
Mm-hmm.
if you give and sow 10%, well, expect the same measure. You understand?
Right.
So For me, I tell people they should instead of complaining, that thing you're complaining about your spouse is just like a reflection. That thing is also in you. So why not do it? That thing that you think that is not doing, you do it to him or do it to her. I guarantee you it will come back to you much more. It will come back to you much more. But it's unfortunate is that most of the relationship, especially marital relationship, most time people are just selfish about it. And real love is selfless.
Yeah, but the thing is,
It's 100% selfless.
what I'm hearing from you, Mr. Emmanuel, is more of like in it's more in terms of material things. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know. Maybe it's me. I'm reading it wrong. But you're saying like
It's more of
material in terms of material, what you give to the person.
no. I didn't mention material thing. No. I'm talking about affection.
No, that's how I'm perceiving it in my head. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Love is not measured by material thing. There are some people, let me tell you, there are some relationship, no matter what you give to them, if you don't spend time with them, they have not counted it as love. So how do you measure that? You understand? Some people, okay, let me tell you, some men, they give their wife everything they want, but they never spend time with their spouse. To that your spouse at that time, you have not shown love. If you like, buy a car. If you like, buy a house. If you like, give her cash, give her money, whatever. To that woman, as long as she's consigned, you have not shown her love.
Okay,
because you've not spent time.
You have to figure out what she likes.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to figure out. So that's why I call it's a workbook. I keep working it every day. Figure it out. Once you figure it out, then you follow it through.
Okay. Una they take notes. We have a brother teaching us love tonight too. Hey, get your wine glass by your side. Sip as you learn. That's interesting. I mean, in fact that you're saying it means that you on your own you do those things, so you understand what it
No. Even me, let me tell you, even me, I'm working on my own because the truth is that there can never be any perfect marriage. Every day you work on it. Sometimes, okay, can you imagine that in a situation sometimes you just wake up, there's no quarrel, there's no discussion, there's no that you just find out that your spouse is moody, right? Either you two you're moody. You can't even figure out what happened. Are you getting my point? You just find out that today you just nothing happened. You can't even figure out. It's not traceable to even you. It's not even traceable to even your spouse. It's not even traceable to your kids. You can't just figure out. Why am I just unhappy today? Like I said, it's still part of life. To be unhappy is part of life. To be happy is part of life. It's just for you to have the wisdom to know that all these are part of life. That you don't need to kill yourself, right, about the whole situation.
Right.
You know? Right. So in that situation, you find out that even when you want to talk to your spouse, he or she doesn't even want to any discussion at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, you give that person space. When the person come out of that mood, then later you can now crack a joke. Oh, what happened? You don't seem happy today. What happened? You find out that your spouse will say, I don't just know what happened. Oh. Today I just feel unhappy, and I can't even trace. If he can't even say this is what he can't even trace it. You can't even trace it. Okay, even when you are not even married, sometimes you just wake up, you find out that today you're not just happy. Nobody hurt you. Nobody has sent any bad news to you. Nothing. Just you are not married. You're single. You find out that you just wake up on the other side of the bed. What happened?
Right.
So it's only natural in that situation. It's only natural. So it behoves on you now as a man or woman to understand times and season, so that you apply your knowledge, your wisdom to it, so that you don't go and be bamboozling your spouse. Say, why will you just keep quiet on me today? Why will you just make issue out of it? It's for you to understand time and season, just like the children of Issachar that understand times and season. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said love is not enough. Wisdom, knowledge is the key, because you keep learning your spouse every day, new thing. Because the nature of human being is so dynamic. It's so dynamic.
People
You
change every
can
day.
manage
People change.
exactly. You can manage exactly. You can manage resources, even animals. You can manage any other thing. But when it comes to a human being like you and I, we are so much dynamic in nature that you're thinking this way, that this is what you want to do. You want to surprise your spouse, not knowing that what you're thinking that is a surprise, it doesn't even mean anything. So what do you do? So we human beings, we are on our own, complicated in nature on our own, let alone the next person. So you just apply knowledge, very, very key. Knowledge is very key. That's why even the scripture says we should deal with women with knowledge as weaker vessels, meaning that know your spouse.
Hello.
Know your spouse. When you know your spouse, then you know how to apply your wisdom and how to deal with that. Spouse A and spouse B are not the same. Don't go and borrow something from Egypt or borrow something from Mrs. A and B and want to apply it to your own spouse. It will not fly. It will not apply because you are not the same personality. So you figure out the uniqueness of your spouse and deal with him or her the way you understand him or her. It's as simple as that. So all these copycat, copy this, hey, try to compare. We are not the same, oh. We are not the same. So that just what life is all about. So if you fail to apply the knowledge aspect of your union, then you are bound to run into a lot of troubles and all that. You are bound to run into a lot of troubles. So knowledge is very key,
Okay.
even beyond love. Yeah. When the knowledge is there, you find out that the love is good. Love will naturally flow. But when the knowledge is not there, love is like vapor. It comes in, it's like network, let me put it that way. It fluctuates.
So sometimes the love they get low current.
A low current. Just like when you look at your phone, you see 5
No
bar.
battery.
Sometimes you will see 3 bar. Sometimes you see 4 bar. Sometimes you see 1 bar. Sometimes I say you see barless. Sometimes you have to read.
No connection.
In fact, at times exactly no connection. It just completely out of network. You have to restart your phone and touch 1 or 2 things before you see network is trying to come back again. At times you even need to change location. That's why we go on vacation. That's why we go on retreats. To refresh again. At times you need to change environment.
Wow.
Just to rekindle the love again.
Right. So do you is it are there times that you take time apart from each other just so that you can, maybe she has her own thing she wants to do, maybe she decides, I want to go out of town for a few days and come back, start freshness. Is that something that, I know people have different ways of refreshing their marriages or whatever.
Yeah, that is very, very necessary. You know why? I will give you an example. Using Christian base now, even as close as Christ was with his disciple, at times he distanced himself, or when it's time to face some critical personal matter, he will just distance himself from disciple and go and pray all alone. You're right.
Yeah.
Then sometimes allow your to go on a retreat. If you have some seminar or maybe some women program or for men program, let her or him go maybe 2 or 3 days so that you miss him or her. You just imagine where you are dating now. Sometimes 1 week, 2 weeks, you don't see each other. You be calling, doing midnight call, all these calls because you are not seeing each other. But because that distance now, has now given you that feeling. Oh, you start missing him or her, right? So by the time the person now comes, it will not rekindle that relationship again. So going on a retreat once in a while is good. It's very, very important. It helps. Out of sight, just be out of sight. Oh, I'm going on 1 or 2 days. Why sometimes both of you should do it together. So just spice it up. Do some new thing that you've not done before. Because if you just only one way, I guarantee you will get tired. If you just only one, there's no new, you're not bringing any new thing into the relationship. You're not bringing any strategy. Even in an organization, if another organization will go on retreat, they'll go and we'll call it a brainstorming session, right? Bring out your idea. What do you think? How do you think we can move this company forward? These are all, brainstorming sessions. So you can do that when you are apart, or maybe you are both of you on maybe on a kind of holiday, or this holiday. Most children are not involved. Just only both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Just go and do as if both of you are dating afresh. Just new thing, because it's the dead do part. The dead do part is not for 6 months or for 1 year. The dead do part. So it's a serious business that you need to really keep bringing new things. Otherwise, it will be tiring on the both sides, both on the side of the man and also on the side of the woman. It doesn't matter which side. You understand?
Mm. Wow, that's
So it's very
amazing.
important.
You have some solid advice. So people don't they praise you self in comment section. Gravita says solid. Yeah, so I mean very, very practical advice. Nothing fancy, swancy, Just saying, as a practical, real life
It's
situation.
practical. It's
But
practical. Yeah, it has to be practical.
I'm very glad that you see the fact that it's good for both parties to be apart for some time so that there'll be an opportunity to miss each other. Some people don't see
Mm-hmm.
that. Some people don't understand that. Some people, it's almost like they're choking each other out. Like there's no breathing space. Because I mean I've heard some couples complain like that, like some YouTube videos I've seen where people just complain and talk about what their problem is with their partner, whether it's the man or the woman. Is in some cases,
Mm.
man will say the woman no dey give her a chance, always in his face, always. Sometimes he just wants to whatever. So it's good that that's very, very healthy. you know
In fact, most people feel it's insecure. Some people feel insecure. When there is no trust too, that is where you see that kind of thing happening. There is no trust between the spouse, both spouse. You don't trust the next person. You're like, if I give this person space, I don't trust him. I don't know what he's going to do. If I give this person, I'm not sure. So that could cause all these kind of bumper to bumper close marking. And you find out that the both of you, both the marker and the marquee are not comfortable with the whole thing. The whole thing. They are just exactly. You are just close bumper to bumper. Why? Because there is practically no trust in
Mm.
between the two parties. Because for me, why can't you trust your spouse? Okay, even if you've been cheated before, maybe for one reason or the other, okay, for the sake of your health and your mental health and the stability of your mind, because The scripture in Proverbs, I wish I can remember that was because I say, guard your heart with all diligence. That out of it are issues of life. So you only have one heart, and the only person solely responsible to guard it with diligence is you. So if you keep your heart anyhow, anybody can put any trash into it, and you keep battling with it. That's why you see a lot of people have high BP. They are young, they are not even old yet. They already have high blood pressure. You keep wondering, what are they thinking? They have good livelihood, but yet by the time they check, their BP is high. Why? Because there are a lot of trash that you shouldn't be thinking about. There are a lot of things you shouldn't be, even thinking about, because if you want to focus, the only person you can control in this whole earth is you. You cannot control the next person, even if the person is your spouse. You cannot control 100% the next person, what the person would think, what the person would do per second. You cannot have 101 control, because even God Himself sometimes find it difficult to even control man. Why? Because man has his own free will to do some certain things, you know. So at that point, the only person you should control is you per time, so that you can live longer. Otherwise, if you want to do bumper to bumper to your spouse, I guarantee you will end up losing out. You will get tired, you give yourself headache, you give yourself heart attack. You don't need all that for the sake of even your own health. First of all, after all, marriage is all about companionship, right? So how do you want to live a life that the death do you part, under thinking, under suspicion, under I know this man. You already know, okay, the man can cheat, or maybe the woman can even cheat. You already know your mind, and you know right there in your mind that you're not ready to divorce, even on that basis, maybe because of society, stigma, or whatever. What do you do? I'm breaking.
Yeah. Okay, now you seem good.
Okay. So maybe under the basis of the societal stigma and all that, or you know that your spouse is cheating and all that. That shouldn't be the reason why you should give yourself headache. You cannot control any human being the way you control yourself. So the only thing you got to do is your heart. Guard it with all diligence. Be intentional. Be intentional about it. Don't allow any external forces, including the one that is coming from your spouse, to affect that heart. Otherwise, you can go crazy. That's why here in the Western world, you find out that somebody can just get crazy. Before you know it, they will use that thing and point on your forehead, and you are drop dead. Why? Because the person cannot take it anymore. You understand?
Right.
So things like that, things like that. Because people can step on your toe. It doesn't matter how long you live together. It doesn't matter how that day you will even remember whether you even love that person anymore. You will not remember whether love has even existed between both of you, or you even have children. Why? Because you allow your emotion. You are not watching over your mind, over your heart, which is the center of your life, where everything that comes in and goes out is in the center of your mind. So people will say things, they will throw it like a trash, they will throw tantrum. There are some words that even your spouse will say, you keep wondering, can this come out from your spouse? The only thing, what do you do? When you're angry, you keep quiet. Don't say a word. Say, be angry, but sin not. But unfortunately, we will get angry and we sin on top. I say, no, I won't take it. I will give him woto. I will give her woto. How far? How has the woto helped so far?
We fight here.
Since
we fight here.
for 15 years or 20 years or more, you've been giving this one water and the water has not helped out. Is it not logical or sensible for you to say, this is not working, why not just hold your peace? After giving him water, the headache is for you. The hard BP is for you. How long are you going to live in? How long are you going to live in this world that you be giving just one person water? If you wake up, the person will be there with you. If you sleep, the person is still there. Why can't you just guard your heart? No matter what the person has spilled out from his or her mouth, it shouldn't affect you. That's why you should guard your heart from external tantrums. You think tantrum is only outside? Is it only somebody that you don't know that you get from? No, the tantrum you even hear it within from the person you so-called your spouse. By the time the person spill out one dangerous, poisonous word, it begin to wonder, is this my spouse? Is this my husband? Or is this my wife? Really? What will you do? You keep quiet and let it slide. Why? You've got your heart, your mind to protect. That's the only way. Because if you say you want to return, if you want to retaliate, just think about the outcome. What if both of you are not the same strength? That's why you hear some men use their hand to buy their wife. You hear some women use the other thing and buy their husband. So these are the things, little things like that. If you can just have yourself in charge of your heart, it's an instruction from God that created you. And I say we should guard our hearts with all diligence, not with carelessness. That out of that heart are the issues of life. But every issues of life has to do in the heart. So you tell me, why don't you just take knowledge and apply it?
That makes
so
sense.
that I can live long.
That makes sense. You make a lot of sense. Very practical ones too, I have to say, because I'm glad that you spoke about this, because there are a lot of people listening, and you never know who's struggling with what, and not be waiting we can talk about today, but the thing just organically flow in this direction. So
Yeah.
and you were making a lot of sense. I didn't want to stop you, because what you say is very practical. To be honest, it's sensible.
Yeah, because a lot of homes are really, really on fire on little things.
Right.
You understand? So you cannot control even your children. You're paying school fees. You're living in their. You get a level in their life that you find out that they are even outgrown your control. They begin to make some certain choices by themselves.
Right.
You understand? So the only person you can control in this life is you.
Right.
It's you. So the person that's responsible to keep himself, to guide his heart, is you. So don't allow anybody, no matter who the person is, to puncture your heart. And when you allow your heart to be punctured, that's why there is war. That is why there is quarrel. That's why there is fighting. That's why there is buying. That's why there is divorce. In short, that's why there is divorce. When I was about getting married, that's the first thing my dad told me. Say, once you get married, try as much as possible to look away from a lot of things. If you want to poke nose, put your eyes in everything, I guarantee you, you won't be able to last in that marriage. What does that mean? The first question he asked was, have I seen him raise his hand on my mom? I said no. I now ask him, why is he asking? Does it mean that my mom doesn't hurt him? Or does it mean that my mom doesn't step on his toe? The answer is no. She does a lot of the time. But he has decided to be in charge of his heart and not allow what he does or what he doesn't do affect him. Because if you want to put eye on every dot, on every T, or everything, that probably I wouldn't have been born. That's how you put it. Maybe from the onset, maybe from the onset of maybe after my elder sister, maybe also that wouldn't have been me. So that thing stuck into my mind. That is stuck into my mind. That means there is nothing, even outside marriage, even in the workplace, even anywhere in the community, people will step on your toe. People will step on your toe. Even if you are single, people will step on your toe. You marry, people will step on your toe. Whatever you do, people will step on your toe. So it's the hope from you now to be in charge of your life. You have to master your heart. If you can do that, I guarantee you, even the devil will run away from you. We give you your space. So that's what a lot of people have not really mastered themselves, their heart. That is why you see people taking drastic action. Why? Because and you find out that once that is done, when people have taken that drastic action, they later regret what they have done. Say, how did I do this? I can't believe it. I could do this. Because you weren't in charge of your mind. So it's things that we need to, in short, that is why sometimes you find out that some people will write on a paper why you love your spouse. They will list long items, long point on that list. Then after a few years, ask them if they should have opportunity to marry their spouse again, would they do? You will see a lot of no. Why? What has changed? That's the question. What has changed between the time you say yes and the time now you're saying no? What has changed? So it's something that people really, really need to look at. And I don't like people to go into a relationship with fear. And over expectation is what is making some people run into trouble. What you cannot give, you are expecting from the next person. What right deep in your heart that on me, I know if you do this one, I can't do this one, but you're expecting the next person to do it for you. And when the expectation is not being met, you start feeling cheated, or maybe unhappy, maybe he's gone through. I tell people, don't over expect for your spouse. Don't over expect. Don't over expect. Rather, you try as much as possible to put in more, give out more than expected. That is when you'll be able to enjoy your union. But when you're over expecting, just like you have a car, right? You put on two tires, brand new tires, right? If those two tires are not going through alignment, you find out that though they are new tires, but the car will be wobbling on the road.
Yeah, it'll be wobbling. That's right.
Yeah. Exactly. So another thing too, the man has not learned his responsibility as a man, and the woman too has not also learned her responsibility as a woman. So you find out that woman is entering the man's lane, man is also entering the woman's lane. So the whole thing is causing confusion. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Especially at this time and age, you find out that women are really doing something that men ought to be doing. A lot of things. So and that all those kind of things bring disalignment. So you don't even know who has, who's meant to do this, or who has who knows what left from the right. So that will cause disalignment. So if you know that this is your responsibility as a woman, and you keep to it, the man also know that this is his responsibility as a man. He keep to it. I guarantee there will be less issues. There is less issues. But it's just that the unfortunate thing is that we always over expect the next person to do. Even what is supposed to be for the woman to do, you're expecting the man to do it. Even what is supposed to be the woman to do, the man is expecting the woman to. So there is a lot of disjointed expectation between the two parties, and there's no flow. If I enter your lane now, the next now I will scratch you now. You know.
Mm.
So that is just it. You know, God has given everybody his own responsibility. You know, so just that we don't keep to it, and we struggle. We struggle. That's why we struggle, because we have gone out of the original plan. Now, as if a union is no good. It's very, very wonderful. You know, and I tell people, you cannot get perfect human being on earth. The only person, the only person that you can see as perfect marriage is the marriage of Jesus Christ. You cannot see Jesus Christ to marry. You know, everybody comes with his own baggage somewhere, somehow. You know, so wisdom, knowledge is the key thing to sustaining every relationship. Is the key thing. Any other thing anybody tells you, you see family that have money everywhere and yet they are divorcing. You keep wondering, why can't they keep their marriage? Why can't they keep their union? It's not
Although
money
though,
cannot keep it.
although though, there are times that not everything is, because life is unpredictable, as you would agree. Life is very unpredictable,
Yeah.
unpredictable, and there is such a thing
Mm.
as there comes a time when something comes to an end, whether it's by divorce, whether it's by someone, one partner passing away and all of that, because nobody knows.
Yeah.
Human mind is complex, so the idea that sometimes people just get to that point in their lives where the chapter for that particular purpose is over, so they
Mm.
need to move on to the
Yeah.
next thing. So I don't, sometimes when people decide to go their separate ways, they know better
Mm.
what's going on. You understand? Like they understand it better. Not in all cases, but in some cases that's the case. So yeah, sometimes it's not such a bad thing when people come to a point in their lives where they feel like, okay, I don't see anything in future for these two people. I don't see anything in future for this one and that one. This is a mute point right now. I want to go this in this direction. There's nothing you can do about
Mm.
that. If the person says they want to go in a
Yeah.
different direction, instead of taking it too hard, because what I
Mm.
see, and I'm saying it from a naive place, so because I've never been married, so I don't
Mm.
know how it feels. But
Mm.
when the person gets to that point, one person cannot carry the relationship at that point. Everybody need to find, okay, that's what you want. You have to be okay with the person saying, if that's what you want, that makes you happy, then no problem. Everybody do their own, right? So at the end of the
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
for everybody,
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, especially when, yeah, you have a point, especially when the relationship has gotten to the point of maybe life threatening, you
Yeah,
know.
or
For
abuse,
me,
or even abuse, because sometimes abuse,
life threatening or abuse and all
yeah,
that. So for me, it is better to be alive, you know, than not to be alive because of one so-called marriage, you know. It's better to be alive first of all, or you can't just remain in abuse perpetually, you know,
exactly.
because everybody has his own threshold,
Yes,
limits of patience,
yes,
you know,
exactly.
you
Yeah.
know. eh. So, that just is so. If you are running out of patience, just the way you sign the dotted line and you say yes, you can also unsign it.
And it's
You know.
okay as long as it's life. You are experiencing different things in life, and it's okay as long as both parties are. It's a mutual, even if it's not mutual, because everything in life cannot be straight, right? Take
But
it,
sometimes,
take it the way it is, and
originally,
move on.
yeah, but originally that wasn't the plan. That wasn't the plan of God when it comes to that union. No,
I
he said in the
understand that.
beginning,
I
in the
understand
beginning
that.
it was not so.
Even though F. Emmanuel, even though it's not the plan of God, but human beings will do their own. That's why he gave free will.
Yeah.
So he even said it's
Yeah.
better if you don't even, he even prefers it if you're on
Mm.
your own. Because there's a lot of problem that comes with you marry, because when you marry, you're marrying families. You're not just marrying the person, you are really marrying families. That's
Yeah. You're right. You're
the
right.
coming together of families. That's a big deal. So human beings
Mm.
do what human beings are, right? So even though yes,
Mm.
that's the desire, like okay, so but then again, life is tricky, man. You never know. You just have to be able
Very
to
tricky and
accept,
dicey.
yeah, accept whatever
Mm.
life throws at you and say, okay, well,
Mm.
what do I make with this stone that life has thrown at me? Or what do I make with this
Mm.
onion that I was given by life? Do I use it to do stir fry? Or do I use it to make
Mm.
stew? Or do I blend it and blend it and use it to make some type of gravy, anything. So life is unpredictable. I just feel like
Very,
sometimes,
very.
you know being too hard on one, like this woman now, thank God say she no end her life. I mean, what for what?
Mm-hmm.
Children would now be, motherless with nobody
Mm-hmm.
knows what their future is going to be like. Nobody knows if she had any trust for those children, if they're going to have money to be
Mm.
taken care of. Thank God for the people that were there to keep her from doing
Mm.
that. That's devastating. And even though they've been able to keep her from doing that, she has to go through a process of healing because her heart is broken.
Yeah.
So they have to be talking
Yeah.
to her, calming her down. So for that time period, her children will not have access to their mother. When I say access,
You're right.
emotionally. So the children suffers in this process, you
Mm.
know. Anyway,
Mm.
thank you so much though. You brought so much knowledge. I really appreciate it. Even though that was not the because our mandate bring us come here, but it was a
Not be small. Oh. I can't wait to see that mandate. Oh. I
our
can't wait
mandate
to. I'm itching to see that mandate. I'm telling you.
our
But I already
mandate
started planning the things I'll be doing back home and all that.
yes, so a lot of people will be going back home if that happens because
A lot.
so many things are happening back to back. It's even hard sometimes to keep up, you know. But I
Mm-hmm.
just wish that
Mm-hmm.
I just hope, I mean, the judiciary, they cannot say that they are blind, they don't see what's happening. That's the thing. They cannot say that they are blind and they don't see the suffering. They don't see the pie every day. They can't say they don't hear these things. They have people on the
This
street.
one, this one is bonga fish. Bonga fish bone don't hang for their throats. They can't swallow
Exactly.
it. They can't bring it out.
Exactly. So they have to give the judgment. Whether they are giving it for or against, give it. We'll see. Whether you want to burn the whole place to the ground, okay, we will know then. So give it and let people
Yeah.
know, This one that they say they will give it 24 hours before to the Labour Party people, and then they will now announce it. It's like, people want to do it at 3 a.m. like you are usually used. You forget that even if you do it at 3 a.m., there are people who are awake at 3 a.m. So they will still know. Anyway,
Right now, we have learned our lesson. Now we are no longer sleeping 3 or 4 a.m. Oh. All eyes are on judiciary. That means nobody is sleeping.
nobody is sleeping. Nobody.
So that last time we finished voting, we said, okay, we want to go and sleep and rest. Before we woke up, they have hijacked our vote. So this
Exactly.
time around, all
Exactly.
eyes are on judiciary. We don't sleep again. In
No,
fact,
we know
we
they
dey do
sleep
all night.
all
We
night.
are doing watch nights.
Yes, so that's what's happening right now because no, not be waiting there. The one wey they do us that time, e pain us. Abeg.
Oh, yes, so we don't wait for someone who come and do us willy willy.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Gravitas, yeah, it is a well-rounded. Yeah, I thought it was well-rounded too. I just let him talk because he had a lot of practical information, and very useful, very practical, you know. So it's needed, you know. As soon as we get our money, maybe we can finally be able to focus on how to fix what. Yeah, exactly. We can now start having conversations like this, like, okay, how do you approach this? How do you approach that? Because a lot of things are going to need fixing in that country once we get our mandate. A lot of people will be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Trauma levels go high. People that have been traumatized for years and years by all the experiences
I
they
said,
have.
do you know that the whole thing too is that it's found out that this whole the condition of our economy back home has even made some families are living apart. You know that?
Oh
Why?
yeah.
Because of economic condition.
Oh yeah.
Because probably the plan is that okay, let one person come here, and see how it's gonna be. Then maybe later the next person joins and all that. So by the time us put one or two together, I found out that the person over here they want to go back, and the person over there can't come in.
Exactly. On
So
the mix, they'll not find
families are
somebody
apart.
here. They'll find somebody here. It now
Exactly.
becomes complicated. Yeah.
Exactly, and your engine need to be oiled, to keep it, otherwise, the cobweb will be everywhere, will full everywhere. So that kind of situation also affects. So there are a lot of things. Economic situation also affect union,
Yeah.
you know.
It does, because some men are even at the borders. Their wives are going to go and work as house girls in these Saudi Arabian countries, so that they can send money
Imagine.
home so they can eat. So their wives are going to go and be house helps. They will abandon their children
Mm.
and their husbands, and in some cases, the men will go and remarry and abandon the
Mm-hmm.
children. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a
This
crazy.
way.
It is. Oh, thank you so much, Effie Daniel. I really, really appreciate. This was a nice detour. This was a really nice one, guys. I know that this conversation took a detour, and I know so Nigerian all of now. Everybody was in the comment section commenting. So yeah, but
Oh, they don't want to jump in. They are just commenting.
they are just commenting. It's okay. I say if anybody doesn't now because of you, I even take. Otherwise, I was about to round up and call it a day, but it was a nice detour.
Oh wow,
Yeah, because we were
wow.
having this conversation. I was like, well, I don't want to break your flow. But yeah, let's keep our eyes on the judiciary, of course. And we will see as it play out tomorrow now, hopefully. And I'm hearing that I was hearing that they had a meeting, ECOWAS had a meeting in Ghana, and they're still talking
Okay.
about sending in troops. I'm like, this man no one rest. Apparently, the Secretary of State for
Mm.
here called Agbado, tell am say he must go, he must send he must put boots for ground. Now I say which boot? People when their morale low, people when they find as they want to run comot, na you dey say make they go fight. People for Niger, there are people dey volunteer service now. They voluntarily they join the army. Then they train them in their numbers.
Mm.
You, I'm telling you, they're
Mm.
ready for what's to come. And I guarantee you, there'll be a lot of Nigerians that are joining that military to fight back.
Mm.
Una dey there, So that's what I heard. I hope that this man does not make a mess of this whole thing because of his greed and what he wants to achieve. He wants to use it as a way to stay on, which is not going to work. And this is why the judiciary, this is the only time they have to save themselves, save that society.
Mm.
They are they are in a very, very vital position right now. They are the ones in a position to make or break that society right now.
Mm.
They are the ones in a position to make or break that society. So whatever decision they give right now is going to determine whether Nigeria stands or whether it sinks. It's up to them,
In fact, the whole of this thing, this issue, what I look at it is that it's like the Westerners and the French country, they are the one playing this drum,
Oh yeah.
right? So that African countries, ECOWAS, will now what that is fight within themselves, while they still capitalize in our resources and be making our resources, while we keep killing ourselves and be fighting within ourselves. The drum is not African drum, it's Western drum. That's the way I look at it.
No, and that's what it is. Because what's going on now is that, they've already spent so much money in Niger. The reason why they keep saying Niger, Niger, people keep saying why are they ever. They have a pipeline already that they built from Warri that's already going. So that's that pipeline is supposed to get to Europe, but it never reached Europe. So now that one they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on that pipeline. So there's that interest, and there's also the French interest that they have, the minerals when they take the uranium. That's the thing. Now what I heard in some places that there's beef between France and US. Because France they say, because US they won't do diplomatic move now. As these people they do diplomatic move for front, they'll go they do another thing for back. In fact, at the same breath, now they go they buy the equipment for the people when they terrorize to continue to terrorize. That's so that they do their thing. Okay. So France they say, why you won't go diplomatic? Shebi we talk so we want send people for ground. They no want tell France say we dey back. They try to pressure because it's all about their own interest. Because they want them in such a way when they say that pipeline when they go, that gas pipeline, they go monetize them. They'll get monopoly and they'll come and sell to the whole world. Okay? Then US they try to and this thing when happen for Niger and I put stop to all of these things. Me, I even hear or I saw somewhere where they say they don't blow up, they blow up some part of the pipe or something like that. I hear them, but I don't know. I don't know how true that is. You understand? So,
but all African countries, all African countries are sovereign countries now. So why would external country like France and the US, want to now tell us what to do? Just like your house now, you decide, you notice that something is eating up what you have in your house, right? And now you now saw that if I don't put an end to this thing, one day I'll become. So we've been a slave all this while. That is why we are not growing. So I expect all the ECOWAS to join hands together with what Niger is doing and make sure that, okay, what is these people trying to achieve? Is it for the betterment of ECOWAS or for France? It's an opportunity for us to stop what they are doing. But the Agbado man doesn't want to comply. He doesn't want to comply. He wants to dance to their tune so that he will retain his position, his illegitimate position. So for me, the way Mali, Burkina Faso, have risen, for me, it's a good thing. It's really, really a good thing because if you don't stand up like that, our unborn children will still meet the same situation. So the best is for us to support them, the Nigerians, and make sure that they come to a better terms. Let the Nigerian be the landlord, not France. If France is acting as a landlord, they will keep remaining in the same condition. We will never grow. The country will never grow. So what the way they are taking it, for me, is it doesn't call for war. It doesn't call for war. All he calls for negotiation. Okay, France, we notice that we've been down all this while. We've been making us all this while. Let's renegotiate. There's room for negotiation. Whatever I want to get from us, come and build it in our country and let you have maybe 10%, we'll get 90%. It's our land, it's our resources.
That's what they told him.
I don't think
that's what they're saying to him, like, come and build anything you want, come and build it here and take it and we'll negotiate.
Exactly.
The guy is not even saying don't come. That's the funny thing, Africa no dey tell them say no come, we know.
Africa can even decide, okay, we are not, Africa is a business. Africa can decide, okay, we are not dealing. Stay on your own, we are not dealing. Maybe we can meet in an international market and trade together, no problem. But we don't want to have a dealing with you. It's not by force.
Exactly.
Right? Africa is not even, they are not even saying that. They are saying, okay, let's renegotiate the terms and conditions so that we have ownership as a landlord. You can't become a tenant. You can't be a tenant and be ruling me and be telling me, taking my own resources from my own backyard and be using it against me and keeping me abject poverty and want me to keep quiet. No. Gone are those days. The time has come for me to stand to protect what God has blessed me with. You know, I think what they are doing is the right thing. So all I expect Agbado to do is to toe the same line and support what the Nigerians are doing. You know, it's well, oh.
It is, it sure is. So that's the thing, you know. If only, I don't know, the people around him, they're just all senseless. All of them, they're all so senseless.
It doesn't have good advisors now. That's what the problem is.
Oh, they're just gonna run into the ground, and he will consume himself. All of them will follow consume each other. I'm telling you.
If he has good advisors, I don't think from day one I know that this guy has started committing error. How can you just from day one they handed over to you? You already say subsidy gone. Now so the thing they gone from out without any plan in place.
The guy no care about that one. Now how you want to stay so that they go how
no, he won't show skin. I won't show muscle. Say he has arrived. He's not in charge.
Yes, so, exactly.
You know, let me tell them that subsidy that people are clamoring for is gone.
Exactly.
Okay, as you don't go to our market.
Exactly. If they look for who go legitimize them, you know, that's not the problem. So anything to learn, this Western people, they are in his ear. Now can they rush go France that time? They are in his ear because they get file on them. So now they tell them if you not do like, because they give until what 20, which I think 31st or so or 20 something. Then they give them to explain why they not go release in file to what they call this guy article. That one they ground because the article file case against them. So they say make him explain to them why they not go release the file to them. So
it has nothing to explain.
That pressure deal. But then again, on the flip side, they use them as bargaining chip with them. Say if you don't do as we tell you, we go release this thing. So you go dey under pressure, but with that pressure and a bad pressure you dey under because the not when you claim say vote for them. Okay, those ones now come say, hey, we don't use our hand go buy market. So now this man I can kukuma be the downfall of the north and the whole of the West Africa. You understand? So the northerners are pushing back. They are now divided now. The northern elite people, they are now divided over him. They are now saying, hey, Shebi we say we are not going to vote. Shebi we say this one. Shebi we say, so there's infighting going on there. And then some of the northerners don't come out, they protest, say no, they don't want fight too, and all of that. And somebody came up with the idea that, I think it was Kene. Kene said, we should all come out and protest in Nigeria. That's what is supposed to happen, right? But a lot of people, they are so hungry. Now, how they want to see food chop, now they think. Because some of them are, they buy under hunger. Whether they remember to come out to protest, that's not the other thing. Because you know, as Nigerian society be. So, my people, all eyes on judiciary, because we go.
Yes, so I cannot wait to the judiciary.
So
I cannot wait to.
Thank you so much, F. Emmanuel. I really appreciate you staying with me throughout on the panel. I really, really have. You make the conversation even sweeter, self. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much too. At least as my in-law now, you know my wife is from Benin too. Don't get.
Oh, she's
so all the people are my in-laws.
Oh, okay. Okay, now that's good. You be my in-law with that. That's fantastic. Oh,
Yeah, so
that's when you greet them for us. So then I say we greet them. Oh.
no, no wahala, no wahala.
Thank you very much. I appreciate.
It's
Yeah.
okay, Omoye. Thank you too for your time.
Uh, thank you. So guys, now here I want end am o. Gravitas, she say she step down and don't burn. I who know am? Who knows him? Anybody wey know am, make dem go tell am now. Make dem go whisper to am, tell am say Baba, Baba, dis one you wan put hand, you no go fit comot am o. See the one wey dem dey fight for, which where dem still dey fight dat fight, till today dem still dey fight. Ukraine still dey there, dem still dey fight. You know how many dem don lose again for Ukraine? About 25,000 people, abi how many? Yeah, I dey read am just now. Everyday people dey kpai for dat side, dem never fit finish the fight wey dem start for there. Everywhere don scatter. Every day na im dis the man for Ukraine dey lose people. E don turn im country to graveyard. Na dat kain thing na im God forbid. It's not, make we dey pray, make we dey put pressure, because omo, make dis man no go carry us go where we no know. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Oh, I really appreciate. Romari, my darling, I know say you go don go sleep. Kene, you don go Alaba market? All right, oh, you go Alaba market tomorrow. Okay. Gravitas, thank you so much for joining. Nelly, I know say Nelly go don go. That one, she's busy. Transition to tech. Thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by. Who else? Make sure I go through who was here. Misty, my darling Misty. Darling Misty go don reach our village right now as we speak. Romari, you still dey here? I think you go don go sleep. Oh, you know say you na soft life game. You no dey take your beauty sleep play. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. I appreciate it. I beg, if you have not liked, pick or like. Oh, I didn't even check my likes sef. No, una dey show up for this like. No, no, no. I have to give it to you people. You people are too much. You guys are too much. You are on point with the likes. I really appreciate, and the shares. For all the shares, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on my next. I don't know about tomorrow. It depends on what plays out tomorrow. Then we go know. Oh, please, oh, keep all your eyes on the judiciary. Oh, don't look away. More na put una idea. We must collect this mandate. Abeg. As e dey hot, we will continue to push am forward. Have a wonderful night, guys, and stay cool. Oh, bye.